I'm refreshing my list.
Slam Pigs Podcast, Future Wrestling Podcast, Night 2, Wrestlemania post-show simulcast. Welcome back. Can you guys hear me real quick?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
thank
sir.
God. Last night, my entire intro was botched due to audio issues, but we were golden. We were golden brown, like a delicious piece of toast. And when you need some butter with that toast, and the butter to my bread, definitely the man behind Future Wrestling. If you're not watching it here, thank you, by the way, on a big TV. You're watching it there right now. Logan Myers, Wrestlemania, pal.
WrestleMania Live. And yes, we're here on the post-show review right here on Future Wrestling Podcast and the Slam Pigs Podcast. You guys excited? I'm excited. Are you guys?
Always excited.
Excited. But we didn't come alone. Of course, Travis. We never do.
Nope. We ride good.
I
I was going to say, I was excited like 7 goddamn hours ago when WrestleMania was first started. Now I'm just trying to pick it back up, but always have good allies in the house to help you do that. First and foremost, right back here, another member of Slam Pigs and Future Wrestling Cruise Control, Colin Dunn. What's going on, man? Welcome back, Night 2. Mania's come and gone, but you are still here. Gender is loud and proud tonight. Congrats to you and him. Where can everyone catch you? Welcome back.
We're a very happy couple. You can check me out on Twitter.
Did you buy Balor Club shirts to celebrate? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I will be. Don't you worry. I'm going to buy that sweet Sonya Deville outfit, too. Don't you worry about that. You can check me out on Twitter, @UberTie Guy. I was live tweeting WrestleMania. I live tweet a TakeOver. I'm going to live tweet Raw. I live tweet all the time. So you can check me out over there. You can check me out on Future Entertainment, where we do where we do Cruise Control. You can check me out over at the Bicky TMD, where we do Slam Pigs. There we go.
You got to give him more oomph there, Travis. It is Colin the Elephant. Blah.
Nah, my nickname is the Refrigerator.
William Perry.
There we are.
Taken. Might be taken. And of course, returning the MVP of last night, Logan from Red Leaf WrestleCast, introduce our other guest.
Yes, we brought in JD. Welcome, sir.
You're definitely going to get a different vibe from the hype train that was last night. That's for sure. I was a wrestling fan last night. I might be just a little bit negatives tonight.
Well, just a little.
Just a little. I have words.
All right. Thank you for coming on again, JD.
Oh, thank you for having me, despite what I might bring to the table tonight. Not so much of the promo wheeling, jet flying, hype dealing that I was last night. That's for sure.
Oh, I like that. But where can the fans of the podcast check you out?
Oh, that would be the Red Leaf Retrocast. Specifically, Red Leaf WrestleCast if you're into wrestling. If you're into other things, well, we got anime, retro anime, video games, retro video games, modern, all the hype you can imagine of all the nerdy stuff that you want. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Logan.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome back, JD, of course. And Logan, did you know that my art teacher in like 7th grade, she failed me? You want to know why? Because the project that I got an F on, you were supposed to draw money. And just, goddamn it, just something about it. I could never draw a dime to save my life. See what I did? I put so much fucking thought into that, way more than I should, to introduce our last guest. The other half that never drew a dime from right here on my channel. Drew Ortman, man, welcome back. We're not talking nostalgia for once.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. And weirdly enough, when you said art teacher, I knew where you were going. I don't know why, but I knew where you were heading. Tonight, I may be the oddball out, but I can say, since I didn't talk to you guys last evening, I gave last night at TakeOver an A+, and I also loved tonight's show.
You're wrong.
So we'll lead in with that.
Well, I thought where you were going with that was you were drawing Shane McMahon dollars.
Dollar.
Money.
But to me, Drew is 10 times better, so you never drew a dime.
Thank you.
Of course, though. I know that your site's up back now. We're on there, man. It kicks ass. Where can everyone check that out? And your social media and all that good shit.
Yep, absolutely. ProWrestlingJournal.com right now. You can also check us out at PW Journal at Twitter and at Kayfabe Today on Twitter.
And don't forget, Drew, Logan could be coming on that journal as well.
Logan will be on that journal.
Yeah, damn right.
Is it like Red Shoe Diaries? Is it sexy, Logan?
Logan Myers' journal.
Hell
Guys,
yeah.
what can you say though? I mean, biggest show of the year, biggest wrestling week of the year is almost come and gone. One more day. We're gonna have a Mania hangover tomorrow for sure. Even if you don't drink, you get a Mania hangover because the show feels like a marathon, which it is. And we'll get to that when we get to the main event and how that can affect the crowd and whatnot. But just WrestleMania in general. I watched most of the pre-show. I got off work early, and I never watched pre-shows. And I mean, we'll start there, I guess. Logan, what did you think of the pre-show compared to previous Manias last couple of years?
It's not a I can't be shocked that you watched the pre-show, but I'm shocked that you got off work early.
I begged and I pleaded with Jeffrey Bucks because Toys R Us is going out of business. It's going to be a collector's item soon, and I gave some to my boss. I was like, "Look, it's Mania. Braun Strowman needs a goddamn partner."
That's
God,
fucking amazing.
Please don't start with me. But yes. The pre-show for me, the first thing that came to mind was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was just like everybody was in the ring. And it was just like, oh, so no like entrances like the women's. Like I didn't understand that to begin with. But
Jobbed out.
there was
Gotta
no
keep time, pal.
shockers. There was no shockers whatsoever in that match.
The end?
The end.
The end? I mean, for a battle royal? Yeah.
The end was me being happy when Colin was wrong. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to apologize to Logan because no, I have to apologize to him about the women's battle royal. The men's battle royal, I'm pissed I'm wrong because my streak is over. In all fairness, my pick got kind of far. He made it to like the final 6.
The Chad Gable?
No, my pick was Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, okay.
It was a fair pick. It was a fair pick.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked that he did not win, to be honest with you, because of the fact that he was he was that guy out of the whole group in the Battle Royal that was actually, that you can actually say, oh, he's going to win.
Right.
I mean,
I would say.
Good, Drew.
Okay, I would say with this battle royal, the way I felt, and I mean, skepticism about it, but the angle they had at the end, it's almost like they only had the battle royal so they could get to that point. If they didn't have that angle going on, I don't know if they would have actually had the battle royal on the show.
That's very fair. There's really no reason to ever have this battle royal now since it never leads to jack shit. And I don't think that like this will be brought up in the storyline. Maybe I think it will though, in like a satire type way. I think like we'll see like when we see clips at House Hardy next or whatever, we'll see the trophy there, but like maybe malformed or just broken or something. I think that'd be funny. They put like gave Andre broken hair dye or something. I don't know.
That'd be amazing.
What'd you think?
Good
of this,
God, if
JD?
that happens.
The Andre.
That would be absolutely amazing.
By the way, guys, I have some breaking news. If everyone wants to, they can go to their Twitter account right now and follow at Nicholas Strowman on Twitter. He has a Twitter now, and I am his #1 fan.
You have any clue how creepy that kind of sounded by the time you got to the end?
No,
of it?
I know exactly how it sounds. I got it.
No, that was fast. Gee, they had a graphic for his name and a Twitter account ready? No way that was a VIP pass or a plan. We'll get there. JD, what did you think of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
It was exactly what I thought it would be. Matt Hardy would win, deletes everybody. Oh, look, Wyatt came back, but the crowd was immediately killed as soon as Baron Corbin hit the end of days on him. And then Hardy just kind of throws him over the top rope. End over. Okay, move on. Like, they clearly don't want this to really mean much of anything.
I think it just means that Jeff Hardy is going to be a single star because I think we're going to get a Braun Strowman, a Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy tag team from the way it looked. So,
well, Jeff Hardy's going to be a single star, but be a part of that group. That's what I gather.
That could be something. I mean, he wasn't the Ultimate Deletion, Brother Nero, so it makes sense.
And now I just don't understand why it wasn't booked where if you're going to have Wyatt interfere the way or show up the way he did, why would you have Corbin then hit the end of days on him to bury the crowd the way it did? Made no sense.
Yeah. I can follow with that. That ending was kind of that was a little off for sure.
Because the crowd went nuts when Wyatt showed up. They're like, "Hey!" Especially when he threw Mojo Rawley into Hardy for the elimination. Everyone's going nuts. I was like, "Hey, that's fun." And then end of days, thrown over the top rope.
Did anyone notice the moment too where after he threw Corbin out, then it was Hardy and Wyatt in the ring, and the bell ringer obviously didn't know that the match was over because there was two people in the ring.
Yeah.
But that's just picky.
Wait for the pose. Now ring it. Oh, now you're good.
Now ring it. Yeah. I think overall the end of this though, we've all talked about how stale Bray Wyatt is, even though he's really good. It's really weird to say he's really good, but he's really stale. This might be exactly what he needs.
It's kind of like cookies. Like they're still good if they're stale. They're just kind of rough to get to the. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hungry. Like, I'll eat them. You know.
His promos are good. Yeah. They're just the same stale promos that they've been giving him to. I don't know, but I get you.
Well,
I totally
you can't have him lose every fucking match.
Also true.
Yeah. I mean, you can sometimes. I mean, Gargano doesn't win a lot, and look how over he is. But then there's never winning and never getting your heat back, which is exactly what you're talking about. Let's move on, though. Mr. 205 Live himself is in the house. Cruiserweight title, the culmination of the tournament. What'd you think, Logan? I know you're a huge Mustafa Ali fan. I picked him on our predictions. I was on some fucking show, did a prediction. I think I did. I don't know, man. I'm losing my mind. But what did you think, and what did you think of the booking? What they went with?
Well, for me, this was actually a really good Cruiserweight Championship match. I like the fact that they both played off of being the heart and the soul of the Cruiserweight division as well. I honestly, coming into this match, I didn't care who won because I thought both of them deserved it. And yeah, they did it, and they pulled off a really good, probably the match of the pre-show. So.
I mean, you're putting up against two battle royals. That's not that hard to accomplish, regardless of what the match was.
You could have,
especially with the lamest eliminations you can imagine throughout the night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One punch thrown out. All right, move on.
I feel like I'll start off with this too. I guess I feel like this is the most intensity we've seen from Ali, which I liked, and I did like his gear a lot. I don't know why, it looked really cool. But I had no problem with the match. I was fine either way, Logan, with put the belt on either guy. I mean, both, whatever. We'll see where it goes from here.
They're both the same guy. It's essentially they're both the same guy.
I mean,
I can agree with that.
That's hard to argue how they're booked.
The only thing that really frustrates me with this match tonight was during the tournament, Mustafa Ali was like literally doing comebacks throughout the match. Like literally he was getting his ass whooped, and then randomly he would just come in and win, just randomly. And that made him feel important as a fan, because you were like, man, this dude's an underdog. And there wasn't any of that really tonight. And that's kind of what...
Maybe that's what it built to, the fact that he did that all through the tournament, and they got to this point where Cedric's like the superior wrestler, and that point at the end in the storytelling where he's just looking back at him like, just stay down, you know? Maybe that was...
It'll come full circle. I know they had a 4-way to determine what Buddy Murphy is the new number one contender, but this could come like, you go back to this, you know, the bromance and Mustafa Ali's jealous, turn him heel. I mean, since you're on a roll of turning guys heel, you might as well. I feel like it would suit him too. Maybe tonight the intensity was told that he was to do that as a tester. Let's test you out and see if you got heel mannerisms enough, and we'll go with it. Who knows?
I do think Mustafa Ali does turn heel in the future, and I think it will come full circle for him and actually become the Cruiserweight champion, either at next Mania or walk into WrestleMania as the champion.
You know, someone that never has
a name with Mustafa Ali being a heel? No way in WWE.
Yeah. You know who never has to worry about turning heel because he's an eternal heel in your eyes is Colin. And what he thought about this match?
I thought it was a really good match. Given some of the other matches on the main card, I feel like this probably could have been put on the... It's weird. All the matches on the main show were good and like they served purpose, but this one could have easily been put on the main show and it would have been fine. As far as the match goes, I thought it was good. It was only about 12 minutes, which I feel like they could have had more time. but for what they did and the story they told in that 12 minutes, I thought it was a great match. And I'm really happy for Cedric Alexander. He was one of the few picks I actually got right tonight.
I have everyone's picks written down and their how many they got right.
How many did I get right? I lost. I think
Colin,
I got 3.
you got 4 out of 13.
Fuck yes.
You were the least successful out of the 7 people I took out of.
You are the father.
Fuck yes.
What about me? What
Logan, you
about
were
Raven?
5 out of 13. You were the second least.
Do I want to know how I did?
You were 6 out of 13.
Who was the best?
Am I
We're
right?
closer
I'm
to
pretty
the
sure I got all 13. I'm just saying.
You got all of it. I mean,
Never drew a dime.
Yep.
Somebody cue up Kurt Henning's music, please.
Travis, at the end of the night between TakeOver and WrestleMania, I only beat you by 1 pick.
That's called a rivalry, my friend.
Wow.
That's what
Yeah.
that is.
I had 7 out of 13.
We're going to need to get ourselves a championship belt.
I'm taking back
You
that
should
Mega
you
Powers.
should have hit him in the balls after it was done.
I'm taking back that Mega Powers handshake from last night because now it's on. Now we're in a feud. Who's
Did somebody say Mr. Perfect theme song?
Drew, what did you think of the or did Colin you ever answer? Or are you too busy telling everybody how dumb you are? In your eyes. I mean, in your eyes, you were saying you were dumb, is what I'm saying.
Oh, thanks, Travis. Love you, buddy. No, I thought the match was great.
Drew Sif, what did you think of the
Yeah.
little flippity doodah guys?
I guess honestly, out of those two, I expected more, but it was
Thank you.
it was still decent, and I thought the ending was really good. I thought the storytelling at the end was really solid, so that picked
I
it up
thought
for
for 12 minutes they did what they could. I did expect a better match than what they put on,
Mhm.
but for what they were given, they did okay.
me. Don't show anybody up, pal.
Kind of like what we'll get to later with AJ and Knock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, JD, last but not least, what did you think of the match? And obviously, I don't think it lived up to a lot of people's expectations, and I highly doubt it did yours. From what on paper,
No,
these
not
two
at
are
all.
capable of.
As soon as they put it on the pre-show, they wouldn't give it the time of day. First of all, so all I could expect at best was a 3-star match out of 5. They gave me a fine performance, but 12 minutes for a cruiserweight match? No, like it was fine. That was it. But in the long run, it just felt like another 205 Live match, which 205 Live has been solid the last like month or so. That's okay, but for WrestleMania, please.
I completely agree with that.
Yes.
Please don't jinx it. Please don't jinx it. Please don't jinx it.
And to put the belt on a character like Cedric, like I can only expect now that it's just a transitional move.
Well, the main thing that you have to worry about with him is the promos. And
Oh,
I've been
you
saying
mean,
this since
he
the
can't do it?
beginning. Yeah, been saying this since the beginning. And just want to let you know, I started playing the Mr. Perfect theme song every time Drew was speaking.
That's awesome.
Nice. And I agree. I agree in a big way, but I feel like Drew said also, I agree with both of you. What they were given, I guess they did the best with what they could. But they could have. I get it, and I feel like that was nobody expected like Charlotte and Asuka to be as good as it was. Like, yeah, it was going to be good, but that's a case of talent just letting it all loose and knowing the opportunity they're given.
Well, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
We'll get
We'll
there.
get there.
We will get there.
Women's Battle Royal, Logan.
Fuck this.
Okay.
No.
This is where I need to apologize to Logan because on the prediction show, I made a case that I thought Carmelo, speaking of cases, Carmelo was going to win this match and then lose the cash in later in the night. Not only did she not even cash in at all, didn't even tease it, she was the first one eliminated in this match. And before the show, Logan tweeted out that he had switched his pick to Carmella, and I was like, I knew you joined my side. And we all saw it.
To be fair,
happen.
his pick
Logan,
his original pick wasn't even in the match.
What?
Travis, I need a tranquilizer gun so I can shoot the fucking elephant in the room.
I was going to suggest you guys be a tag team now. You can each wear a dunce cap and call yourself the two dumbasses, but then people might think you're the KKK, so you might not want to do that.
No, I'm Shawn Michaels.
It'd be better than the dynamic dudes, for Christ's sakes, and then hopefully I never have to talk about that again with Drew on the show.
I got
Not
my
a
skateboard.
single person alive picked the winner.
No. I
No.
didn't see whatever her
picked
name
Sasha
is
Banks.
anywhere.
The new streak, lads. The new she has not lost at Mania.
Yeah,
Neither
she's
is
2-0.
Nicholas.
She's 2-0.
Well, I was gonna say something, but we'll get to it.
We'll get
She
there.
grabbed those ovaries.
The plastic, that
trophy.
fucking trophy. Not only were their ovaries, but they look plastic. They look plastic.
Yeah.
She
didn't even go get it.
she grabbed the ring part and just said, "Fuck the other side."
I wonder what the fabulous Moolah trophy would have looked like.
Money.
Colin
Well, they showed
ass.
it. They had one made up. They had one made for a while. I guess they put money into it. They had one. Now it's just going to sit at the warehouse for like nothing.
I gotta get a ticket to that warehouse. Just go and look.
Sean Mooney will be there. Rest assured.
They'll use it in about 2 years when everybody forgets.
The only thing I really have to say about this match is just the finish. I thought the Sasha Bailey stuff continues to be. I'll admit it. I'm compelled at a Bailey storyline. Guilty as sin. I'm liking
It
what they're
should
doing.
have ended like that, though. It
Mm-mm.
shouldn't have been fucking.
I like
No,
that
'cause
it
they
didn't, though.
both got
That's the
a little
thing.
pissed
I
off.
like that Bailey kind of didn't win because then she kind of looked like she had egg on her face, and it just I don't know. They're gonna have
That
a match.
makes
Go ahead.
That makes them both a little pissed off getting out of it. You know, Sasha's already pissed off because she got thrown out, and then Bailey's pissed off because she got thrown out, but she also looks like a dumbass from doing the thing to Sasha. So I think it's great.
And a
And
swerve
it makes
and
Sasha even more mad, though. It makes Sasha more mad that, oh, Bailey eliminated me. Well, she's my friend, okay, but then she didn't even win the match.
Mhm.
That's what's going to piss her off the most.
Exactly. And I also feel like point B, Exhibit B, what have you, a swerve in a good way. And I feel like this was a good swerve having Naomi win. It's not like she's dog shit in the ring. She's good. That's fine. She's a former champ, and it's fine. This
To be
was
fair,
fine. I
everyone's
didn't
a
hate
former
the
champ.
People like her, and they like her music.
I want to get rear-ended by her. Just saying.
The only thing that's obvious though, wow, stinky face.
No, you're right. I didn't truly hate this match in any way. There was just things off about it. Like, it looked like they were trying to highlight the NXT stars, but then when there was highlight moments, they would cut to commercial. The eliminations just felt weak and rushed. Like the whole thing, just like the whole night, it felt like they were just looking at the clock and just saying, "All right, let's move on, guys," because it was just punch, throw out, punch, throw out. They're highlighting Kairi Sane, they're highlighting Peyton Royce. Just everybody would get two moves in and then immediately get thrown out.
Well, they let all
I
the
did like
NXT.
the inclusion of all the NXT people, though. Like,
Yeah.
that was really cool to see. I think they had Tainara Conti. They had Kavita Devi, who was the first Indian woman to ever be employed for WWE.
Belair whipping
Peyton Roy-
people.
Yeah, Bianca Belair with that lethal ponytail she has. Peyton Royce, which I love Peyton Royce. I was kind of surprised that Billie Kay wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure she's still recovering from the surgery.
And that crowd was not happy when Peyton got spilled out. They booed.
No, they booed when Peyton Royce got eliminated, and I loved that.
No, there was a lot of heat in this match because again, it was just the same. It was a WWE formula: two moves thrown out. Like Bianca Belair hit probably, in my opinion, one of the highlights of the night was the 450 splash, and then she was immediately thrown out.
Got her name. It got her exposure. I mean, she's really, for one, she's kind of a new face in NXT in general. But B, I mean, that's like you said, that's one of the more memorable moments from this match. And if anything, she'll get there. She's great. Everything I've seen her do every match, I'm a huge fan of hers, and she's money. I'm calling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Bianca Belair has a bright future.
Did you notice that the girl that was trained by Great Khali?
Kavita Devi.
Yeah, in the orange, yeah.
The moment that they brought that up was the only moment in the match where she was doing these really awkward moves that looked like she was really big. I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
I laughed
cool.
because they were talking about her, and then she's like, she was trained by the Great Khali, and I'm like, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, like no shit. Look at her.
that's not something I want to brag about if I was trained.
And I kind of feel like Great Khali's training school is like the stories you hear of Shawn Michaels' old bullshit training school back then. It wasn't really Shawn Michaels training them; it was other guys, but he would stop in occasionally. I kind of feel that was the case.
I own this place, buddy. Yeah.
I own.
Oh, I think there's one last thing you have to bring up in this match is clearly what the hell is going on with Becky Lynch these days.
It comes up to what you say about Vince hates her accent, like how Vince hates the 10. And I don't like to give into the internet rumors that Vince hates everything all the time, but they do nothing with her, and she's more irrelevant week by week. I feel like I don't know what it is. I feel like there's a heel
And she's
turn
good in the
needed
ring.
there.
She's great in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I like
She's
after they were doing they were doing the NXT chant, and then Becky Lynch came behind Kavita Devi and looked at her outfit like, "Hey, no, I'm the only one who can wear orange."
And then Taz showed up, and he put on a women's wig, and shit was on because he was the originator of that shit.
Yeah. He actually tweeted that. He was like, actually, he's right here. And I'm going on strike because I didn't technically lose picking the battle royals because the guys that I picked was not in it.
I feel like
you lost anyways.
I feel like
I didn't lose and I didn't win.
Logan, I feel like in general we've all spent way too much time on the pre-show as it is. Kind of,
Yeah.
it's all going to
Yeah,
be meaning.
yeah.
Besides the cruiserweight title win, it's going to mean nothing really. Like besides some
Who won
Bayley and
again?
Sasha progression.
Who won again?
Naomi.
Oh well.
I will give it this. It was more significant of a pre-show than one we've seen at WrestleMania in a couple of years.
I agree completely with that.
Oh, good. You're clapping at shit instead of looking at it awkwardly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I think we should move on to the main show.
Oh boy.
Travis,
Huzzah.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Travis.
What can you say? WrestleMania kicked off. I see. You know what? I am so glad they don't kick it off with world title matches anymore. I know they haven't in a while now, but I like it a lot when they kick it off with an IC title match. I'm a mark for that belt. It's my favorite belt of all time. And what can you say, man? Great match, great opener, perfect way to get the crowd off. Blue contact lenses. Jack Frost, is that his gimmick? I mean, it was cool at first, but the memes were in full force.
Loud. His eyes were loud.
Speaking of loud and proud, the battle. I know it's a dumb thing to talk about, but you got to. It's the elephant in the room. This whole battle of love is forever. Go ahead, guys.
Elephant in the room.
Okay, for the record, Logan, I'm wearing an elephant necklace. I don't completely despise the animal, anyways. I'll talk about what Travis is going for. So Balor is obviously very, open, and he's very cool with everything and everybody. And so he decided to wear, a bit of rainbow with his gear because he was trying to support, the LGBT community. And so same with Sonya Deville. She is openly lesbian, and she was wearing rainbow gear in the Battle Royal. I think it's really cool that what they were doing. I mean, they weren't. It wasn't anything like major. They were just kind of subtly giving him a shout out, so to speak.
100% agree with that.
I thought it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Except I don't think they came up with the idea. I think it was probably corporate.
I don't think Balor I think Balor probably had like a part in it too. It's any wrestler they could put this on any wrestler, but a lot of them, like an AJ Styles would never do that.
Well, and he's coming out there with those tights too, going, "I got a really hot girlfriend. Fuck y'all." It's
exactly. Cool. Exactly.
This has been Stephanie's back pocket with Finn Balor for a while now.
The sad part about it is, on paper, I agree. On paper, it should be exactly that, Colin. But when I see this translate on my screen, I just immediately think that name. Stephanie McMahon's virtue signaling bullshit PR spin. She's going to look how great we are and open mind. It's her. She's the center of evil for this company for me. And I hate that one person can make me just like you said, on paper, that would be a great gimmick, but I know what they're going to do. I know how they're going to do it. If they continue, they're going to PR.
It's not even that I hate for me, because if you listen to my podcast with Rad, I've spoken that too many times, and this is what we see now is WWE wrestlers on the main roster become nothing but a catchphrase and a t-shirt salesman. What happens with a Finn Balor entrance? Do we get the Demon at WrestleMania? Do we get any build for a Demon? Do we get any of that? No. We get Finn Balor coming out with a rainbow t-shirt with a bunch of other people with a t-shirt on. That's what the entrance was. It was a t-shirt salesman.
People talk about that enough.
Required the Demon.
Do people talk about that enough? Like Vince just flat out doesn't think the Demon is intimidating or whatever, because I mean, it's cool, but to strike fear, I never really got that from the gimmick. But I could totally see Vince not liking the Demon thing and just wanting to drop it. As popular as it's come to be in merchandise sales is what he loves. Because he's a fucking madman. He does irrational things sometimes. Pull the plug. I can't take it anymore. You know.
I don't think he needed the demon for this match, though. I mean, he lost. Sure, would the demon have helped? Sure. Why? I mean, in kayfabe it might have, but I mean, in WWE and in New Japan, he brought the demon out for like blood feuds and like matches. He needed that extra edge. I mean, he used it in that the impromptu match with Styles because it was like a Raw versus SmackDown. He wanted to defend his brand. He knew Styles was going to be a worthy opponent, so he brought out the demon for that. In NXT,
but in other indie promotions, he would paint his face like Venom and show up for a 6-man tag like every time, in a Progress or something like that. So don't give me the blood feud thing. He would do DC characters all the time for no fucking reason.
I think it shows that with WWE's booking right now and just the way their mindset is and Vince and everything, they're only going to bring out the demon if he's going to win. Like, not if he's going to lose. They're not going to do it if he's going to
win. I mean, that's not my problem in the end. It's just he's being put as a T-shirt salesman.
Well, all of them are T-shirt salesmen.
That's also very true.
Yeah, exactly.
True words have never been spoken tonight so far. They're T-shirt salesmen.
You know what I'm frustrated about? The Miz's undefeated streak at WrestleMania is over.
Yeah, he's been officially pinned now.
And when you say the Miz, because of tonight, I immediately think of let's talk about this too, something brand new, and I don't know if this is going to be a trend. What's everyone's thoughts on this? You need 3D glasses to watch WrestleMania now. Check it out.
I loved it. I thought every single one of them was perfect.
It was off-putting at first. It was. I didn't hate it. It was just odd.
The whole show was odd. So I mean, this was the tamest part of the show tonight.
Logan.
I mean, they put words on the fucking screen, so I'm not really against it.
Logan, are you sitting down?
Yes, I'm sitting down.
I liked it. It was different. It wasn't too gaudy, and they cut it at the right time. And they didn't do it for everything. They did it for select people. And I kind of feel like it. Why not take a chance? It wasn't.
Notice that cut back on the pyro too.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? That was another thing that felt off all night.
I'm just saying that, because of all the pyro they used tonight, even though it wasn't a lot, 7 people are getting released next week because they need to make those budget cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. The match just felt a little spot festy to me in the end. I mean, I didn't hate it by any means. Anytime the Miz was in the ring, it felt controlled. It felt tamer. The Miz was picking body parts. He seemed like a wrestler, while both Balor and Rollins just felt like they were jumping around hitting a spot move.
I will go on record and say this now. The Miz looked very fucking good. Yep.
He did look good. I like how he told the Miz Taraj, go to the back. I got this. He didn't have it, but it was a nice touch in the beginning.
Even as a heel, that kind of worked, which was really weird. Normally a heel would never do that, but that was cool. Gave him a little more cred.
Yeah, it works because to me, the storyline is being told as is. He does need the Miz Taraj to have that title.
I can see him going babyface soon.
I want him in the main event scene.
Miz babyface doesn't work. That's been tried many a times.
And
you're correct. It doesn't work, but I can see it happening.
And I want
knowing them.
And I want the payoff with Daniel Bryan before we go face. If we're going to attempt that, there needs to be something there.
Amen.
Absolutely.
I think so. But we'll get there.
We'll get there. Let's get to match. Well, the finish. The match was great. What can you say? I thought everybody looked fine. And I figured Miz needs a well-deserved leave of absence, like we've stated. It's just a matter of flip a coin. But I felt like Rollins made the most sense. He's got way more momentum than Balor right now, just based on reactions and the quality of matches he's consistently having. This whole underdog Bret Hart vibe I'm getting from him, I've been digging it, and it continues. And it was the right call for me.
Well, if Miz is going to take this leave, then it's going to be Balor and Rollins anyways, all over the house show circuit and probably the next couple pay-per-views.
I could totally see a backlash of 2 out of 3 for this belt with those two. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
That'd be cool.
Kind of sucks that we're seeing main eventers on the mid-card when all that does is now leave the mid-carders in the lower card not being pushed at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd say. That's what I ended up taking out of this. Okay, so you got Rollins, Balor, main event stars, now being pushed down into the mid card because you got to have your Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar always ruin the top, and now that leaves people like Elias, even Strowman at this point, just in purgatory.
Maybe it's like a brand thing though, because I kind of see Rollins and Balor on the same level as Styles and Nakamura.
Not if they have the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Is it really a bad thing though?
I was going to
I
say,
see
other
it as
side of
But a
that,
bad thing.
other side
I'm
of
being
that, I
very
said I'm a huge
negative on
mark for
this.
the Intercontinental. It's refreshing to see this belt given a little bit of a boost. We've come a long way from Ezekiel Jackson and fucking those days to even the Miz and Wade Barrett. Speak of babyface Miz, that was the pity shits. That was awful, and that I'm not hating it. I mean, you got to look at the talent in this company. It's stacked. You got to spread guys out, dude. If everyone's at
But
the
they're
top,
not
that's going to leave
spreading them
nothing
out.
for the
They're
IC.
compressing them. That's what's happening here.
Who would you put in the IC? Apollo Crews? Is that the like what?
Elias and Miz. People
Elias
like that.
doesn't
And
need
then-
a belt
and then,
right
and then
now.
you have Balor and Rollins at the top.
Elias needs no belt. He needs his guitar more than anything else in this world, and that's all he needs right now.
He can still
Unplugged.
be going for the belt. You have to establish a mid card. They're not establishing a mid card here.
Elias has never had a singles belt, and he was in a program with fucking John Cena and The Undertaker tonight. I'm pretty sure he doesn't need a belt anytime soon.
I'm not
He's
saying he
doing
needs
fine.
one. He needs to be established somewhere, which he isn't. He's just there.
But he's still one of the more over people on the roster. Like,
Well,
I get
we've
what
seen
you're
what
saying,
happens to
but I
over
understand what
guys.
Travis is saying too. Like, I would love him with the IC championship. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he'll have the IC championship before the year is out. However, he is over enough with the crowd that he doesn't necessarily need the belt immediately.
And that's my bold prediction. I think Elias is the one that takes it off Seth Rollins.
And I think that's
Yeah.
it's a case, and I think we could probably all agree with this at the end of this and come to terms on it, that it's not a case of any of these guys need a belt, whereas the way I think WWE's looking at it, this belt needs a credible guy to give it relevancy again, and I think that's why they're doing it, as opposed to
Seth Rollins is perfect for that.
and yeah, as
Yep.
opposed to let's punish these guys and send them down. No, I think they just want to make all their titles. Look at how the crowd reacted for a North American title. You know,
Yep.
That's NXT. That's different.
If you look at those guys anyways, Seth Rollins is already in constant main event matches on TV. Now he's just going to bring that belt with him.
and that
By
North
the
American
way-
title
by the
match,
way-
any of those guys are top guys in NXT right now. Any one of those guys you can put into the NXT title program. It's
Amen.
not about the. I get what they're doing with the belts, and I like it. I just hope they don't fuck it up. Like we know they're probably going to.
Yeah.
Travis, before we move on, there's one thing that I forgot to mention earlier with the men's battle royal. I mean, we could have gotten to it at the Fatal 4-Way, but I'm going to talk about it now. Can we all just address the fact that in the battle royal, Aiden English had a full head of, a thinning head of hair, and then by the time it got to the Fatal 4-Way, he'd completely shaved his head?
Yeah.
Did that catch anyone else off guard?
Did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, go back.
yeah, it
In
was
the
a bit
battle
weird.
royal,
God.
he had hair. He had
I
like
love it.
decently long hair, and then at the Fatal 4-Way, when he was introducing Rusev, gone.
It's like
I was
Rickard's
so
mustache, but
confused.
quicker.
He was also the first one eliminated in the Battle Royal, by the way.
I'm pretty sure it's
Even
so he
better.
could shave his head.
Well, that is true.
His
We
tights
did
were
see
awesome,
that.
by the way.
Oh, yes, it reminded me so much of Velveteen Dream. But I do want to give a shout out to the guys in the chat. Hammers Production and Snare X is in the chat.
What's going on? I have no clue who's in my chat. I don't have it up.
That's who's in your chat.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for manning my
Also,
chat.
a couple of my friends from the former website I used to write for are watching, so shout out to them, and my friend Kayla.
I'm sorry.
Thank you guys for joining us super late. This may be the latest we've ever started the show, and you're getting right into the thick of things. We might come back together now. It's Asuka and Charlotte time, guys. My God. Take it, Logan.
What a match these two ladies put on, and wow, who can like it was pretty bad that majority of the people that I saw on social media was like, I want the next match or two to try to top that, and they didn't.
Nope. It wasn't done. I got to take it from here because this was my favorite match of the night. What I think was match of the night.
Best
Because-
women's
because-
match in the history of WrestleMania. Bar none.
It
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
It was the best
I
women's match
disagree.
we've seen in quite some time since, say, Charlotte Banks on Raw. This was the only match of the night that was given the time. outside of the Ronda Rousey match. This was, in my opinion, the only true wrestling bout that we were invested in fans. I don't agree with the ending per se, but as we were talking about in the chat prior, it doesn't have the repercussions that we thought it would based on how it was handled. Yes, Asuka's streak is ended. I liked the little ploy at the end where Asuka got the mic and she's like, Charlotte was ready for Asuka. That immediately kind of put something in my mind. Like, Asuka went in thinking she could lose because she wanted the challenge. It brought more things to the table for me. It was a well-placed match. The pace was nice. It wasn't a spot fest. I mean, give it up to Charlotte and Asuka with the Spanish fly from the top rope, even with a little slip. Who knows if that was on purpose or not? It was one of the moments of the night where, see, that's a WrestleMania moment to me. Was something like, it wasn't the streak ending, it was the Spanish fly from the top. That it was good spots. Things were done well. Asuka ended up tapping to a very quick figure 8 by Charlotte. There was nice reversals. It was match of the night. It's going on my current top 10 WWE matches of the year, and it's the only one from WrestleMania that's making that list right now.
Do you want to do a shout out to somebody that's in my chat? I can't say his name, but he says Nicholas 1-0 while Asuka is 0-1.
Very true.
Ooh.
Very true.
Colin, I
I'll
heard you say
go-
you disagree about it being the best women's match. I didn't know you're such a fan of Velvet McIntyre and Fabulous Moolah, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, huge fan. No, I personally still think the triple threat match from WrestleMania 30 between Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, I thought that was a better match. This match was, to be honest, I kind of have a mixed feeling about it. It felt weird to me. I don't know why. I can't explain how. It was like, oh, okay. It could have been the surprise ending. I didn't see the ending coming when it did. I assumed she was gonna, get out of it or something like that. So it could have been that. It was a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be too. It was only about 13 minutes. But yeah, I really good match. Arguably probably the second best women's match in WrestleMania history. I would put that one behind the triple threat of WrestleMania 30. Good match.
It's debatable, sure.
I also don't necessarily agree with the ending. I like it, but I mean, I like it for the shock value. My jaw did drop. I was like, oh shit, okay, but yeah.
Well, that's what we were worried about. All of us on the podcast here, like, if Asuka's streak ends, is that the correct decision?
Yes.
Is it WWE just pulling the cheap Mania moment? With how it was handled at the end and the wrestlers' reactions themselves, I didn't get, it felt like a good booking decision on how it post-match and how it felt, barring Cena running down the ramp post-match.
I would put the ending like this. I see it as the way WWE is seeing it is Asuka is the AJ Styles and Charlotte is the Roman Reigns. Roman's always going to go over. Always going to be the star. Pride, possession, flair, money.
I don't think it's that. Money. I don't think it's that hard. But Charlotte is money. She does it in the ring. She does the promos.
That entrance.
It was the best entrance of the night.
And I'm not comparing her to Roman Reigns by any means. Don't get me wrong.
Just did. You just did.
No, in a company standpoint, but she's way better. In a booking, she's fine. Yeah, she's great. I love her. She's awesome.
Well, she has more than 4 moves.
Well, first of all, Colin, it's not a shocker that you have mixed emotions, especially for genders. Like, I know you like guys and girls. Oh, and 2, I will say this. I think the ending the streak was their way of saying we don't want her to, the fans to, hate on her in the future. Turn on her because of the streak.
Let's be honest.
You get less funny the more I come on this show. Holy shit.
Let's be honest, though. Those reactions are getting less and less as the weeks go by for Asuka, and they hadn't really changed a thing. And I think that's human nature to resent someone that's just, look how much people hate Tom Brady or fucking, you know what I mean? I get it. Like I said, we talked about it on Twitter. I put it on Twitter. This comes off to me like, hey, remember when you guys cared about Charlotte Flair? It was a good way to kind of come to an end on the streak, give Charlotte much needed boost and credibility and some kind of badge of honor for future storylines. And Asuka's not.
Mhm.
Is Asuka hurt by this? That's the biggest. Is Asuka hurt? No, I don't think she
No.
is. Not at
She's
all.
never been. She still hasn't been pinned, which you could say. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like personal preference if you gauge being pinned or submitted as a more like detrimenting thing. But I mean, she's never been pinned, so they can still roll with that. I don't think it hurts her. She still, kicked the ass of every single person she stepped in the ring with, I suppose, except for Charlotte. And I think Charlotte was the right person to do this, to be honest. I think it cements her as one of, if not the greatest women's wrestler in our generation, maybe of all time.
Overall, I have.
I think
I'm
a
there.
certain Japanese women wrestler might disagree with that one.
That's the thing. That total package wise, I gotta agree with you, Colin. I do, and I've said it for years on any show I've been on that Charlotte's been my favorite women's wrestler in that company. In the world,
I agree with that.
it's debatable, but then again, Tony Storm, who I'm a huge fucking fan of, just like JD is, because I know you're gonna say in a second, so hold on. But just like I'm a huge fan of Tony Storm, she, besides the Mae Young Classic, she hasn't had that WrestleMania type big stage. We've seen that Charlotte can come from a Full Sail crowd to this and she just nails it. I feel like she never has an off match. She is, and say what you want with your petty fucking her appearance and she came off great as the queen visually tonight. It looked great. And she delivered. She delivered beyond my expectation. I never thought. The sad part about this feud, it wasn't built up well for one. It was confusing. It was on another fucking show. Okay, whatever. But it was just half-ass attempt at building up what they had on paper. If Charlotte would have been handled with more relevancy over the past couple of years, this could have been one of the biggest matches on the show. But instead, I think
absolutely.
this came away surprising all of us, saying, man, I didn't think I'd say this is my match of the night. When all along, it probably should have been. It was just so under the radar for how stacked the show was, what they wanted to promote. But you see, sometimes all you need is to go out there and just bust your ass, give a kick-ass match. Fans are going to remember it. And fans are definitely going to remember this Mania, as this is definitely one of the highlights.
Winner.
And Charlotte broke sort of the stigma of someone getting a special entrance and always losing. She got the entrance and she won.
Yep.
Amazing.
You know what's
awesome,
weird
too.
though? You know what was weird tonight? And I was keeping track. Almost only 2 people that were champions came out last. Charlotte came out first. The tag champs came out first.
It's because they had like special entrances, so they wanted to give them the entrance first because they need them more time to set up, so they can't do that in between someone else's entrance.
Miz came out second of third.
Second.
Yeah, second of third. Yeah. Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar were the only champs that came out second. That's not on purpose, or that's not a coincidence by any means. Yeah.
I thought that match was awesome. I loved every bit of it. I loved the ending. I don't think Asuka needs the streak anymore leading up to this. I think she's good on her own to do whatever. And she's got to go back to Raw, I think, to kind of handle things on that side. And if you think about it going into this match, when it was first thought of after she won the Rumble, it was like the obvious thought that she would face Alexa Bliss at Mania. And it's like, eh. But then when it came that she was challenging Charlotte, then it got exciting. That kind of proves what Charlotte has done already and how good she is.
Well, now the question is, despite what we'll get to later, Asuka's clearly the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's title.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Like, it's no question in my mind. But does WWE have continuity? I don't fucking think so. They'll probably have like some 8 women battle royal shit, and maybe Asuka will win.
Who knows? And then she'll call.
It's just WWE's MO, which we saw throughout the night. It was WWE 101 for the rest of the night from here on.
United States title match. Rusev Day, Full Force, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode. My God, people aren't even singing the song, guys. They're not even singing along anymore. And it's not just me. It's very noticeable. This is what I've been saying forever. Why did you turn him face? Why the fuck is Bobby Roode a face? It's time for me to get pissed, JD. Why has Bobby Roode been a face? Why?
I don't know. I've been confused since his call-up why he's a face.
What have they done? What the fuck have they done? It's depressing now to see Bobby Roode come out. We'll get to the match here in a second. Of course, Jinder Mahal getting the win. Nothing. Got to be honest. I got up. I grabbed a bite for me because I did not think they'd let Rusev. I didn't think Rusev was going over. Basically, Logan. I don't remember your prediction in this.
He still went pretty over.
Yeah,
everyone had Rusev winning except me. I had Randy Orton because it's Randy Orton.
I'd just like to point out I'm wearing the Jinder Mahal shirt, so I get half a point.
Yeah, it still doesn't count because you also had Rusev Day winning.
I know, but I am wearing the Jinder Mahal shirt, so I get half a point.
If anything, I get half a point because I knew WWE wouldn't put a title on a foreigner.
God, this point system is.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to
Logan,
say
what do you
this.
think?
Well, I'm going to say this. My bold prediction is before we go to the Fatal 4-Way, I'm going to say Carmella cashes in on Charlotte at SmackDown Live.
I agree.
This Tuesday, and
I agree.
She's already in a title match. That was the rumor for SmackDown.
Oh, God.
I bet it'll be like an Asuka Charlotte rematch on SmackDown. And
Can
then
Carmella have a match?
They would do that shit.
Can
Yeah.
Carmella have a
Yeah, they
scheduled
will.
title match, lose the match, and then right after the match be like, I'm cashing in real quick when Charlotte isn't expecting, just roll her up right after the match. So it
Yeah.
counts as two
That would be
Absolutely, she could
awesome.
do that.
That'd be, and they're already booked
though.
together.
That's stupid. Why would they give the Money in the Bank champion a title match if they already have the briefcase?
But it's not like when you get that briefcase, you're not allowed to get title matches. I don't think you're like banned from that. They've never said. I don't know. That is
No.
Bobby E got a title match against Flair. Why? We don't know.
Oh, we know.
But-
'Cause he loved ketchup on his fries.
This is the bad booking that I'm talking about, though. Sorry, Colin, but Jinder Mahal should not have won that title tonight. You need to go with the most over guy in the company right now, and that is Rusev, besides Daniel Bryan. Rusev is a... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I get where you're going with that, but I slightly disagree where I say Rusev is already so over, he doesn't need it, and Jinder is going to die.
Stupid.
Jinder is going to die out unless he gets something that he can bitch about, which is that United States belt.
Well, I just don't... to be honest, when I saw Jinder Mahal win, I was like, I'd much rather have Orton retain.
Now you
Rusev ate the pin on top of it.
But now's the time to full-fledged make Rusev a face, and he can chase Jinder, and it'll be even better.
There you go.
They won't do that. You know that.
As much as I love the reactions and everyone tweeting me like, oh, hey, congratulations, your boy won. And as much as I love this fucking shirt that I'm wearing, I will...
Why are you saying everybody? Just say me. It was me that tweeted that to you. Come on.
Well, no, you were the only one who tweeted it to me, but I did have some people message me, be like, oh, hey, good for you. But anyways, I will admit, no, I fully understand everyone's, like, issue with this match, and I agree. Jinder was not the one who should have won. I laughed, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll take it, because I kind of like Jinder. But I think, first of all, pinning Rusev was the stupidest thing you could have done in this match. You should have pinned Bobby Roode, because no one gives a fuck about Bobby Roode right now. And secondly, it should have been Rusev who won. I don't understand why Vince doesn't fucking see how great Rusev is.
He has a Rusev
Because
Day
he's
belt.
Bulgarian.
He has a Rusev Day belt right now. He doesn't need it.
The first sentence that came to mind after he ate the pinfall was, now he definitely wants his release.
Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
no, I get it. That makes... Oh my god. Like, they put him in this match, rumoredly, because, you know, I think I just invented the word rumoredly. Anyways, because he wanted his release. So Vince is like, hey, I'm not going to do the impersonation because we've already established it sucks. But he's just like, hey, Rusev, we're going to put you in the U.S. title match. Oh, cool. Who's going to take the fall? Who's going to win? You're going to lose.
You
Fuck
pal.
I don't believe any of it.
Look, this
think
whole
Rusev's a
idea
company
because
man.
a guy's over and doesn't need a title, I don't agree with that. Ever. The same
Well, the
thing
titles
with
just don't
Alliance.
mean anything anymore. That's the
Just
problem.
because you don't need the title doesn't mean you can't go for the title. All this is going to lead to, again, I was the same way. As soon as he ate the pin, great. Now he's actually getting released. That's what popped in my mind.
But
And
I don't count Smoky Mountain Wrestling in this, okay, when I say this. I legit remember Jake Roberts having like 2 title matches when he was in WWF. I'm not counting it the early NWA stuff before he was that character that he was so over with and didn't need a belt. Jake Roberts didn't need to ever go. He was too busy getting blinded by the model to care. And the fans ate that shit up like it was for the world title.
And the Undertaker only ever had a belt if they didn't have anybody else to put it on.
It's not a different era. Braun Strowman just won his first belt, one of the most over guys in the world right now. And he hasn't needed the belt. He kept losing title matches. It got more popular.
And that belt doesn't really count. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Look, Rusev losing this match is not only a middle finger to all the wrestling fans. Did you not see the moment where Rusev he just matcha kicked? He just stands there and looks at the arena like a Hulk Hogan type person.
I'm glad, you know what? Hot take time. I'm glad it was a middle finger because that's a huge problem with a lot of wrestling fans. There's no patience. If you let this play out, it'll be even better if Rusev ends up winning it from a heel gender. They were friends before. Now it's a bigger reason for them to split
up.
They
brought that up like 3 times during that match.
It's not a fuck you. It's have patience, I think they're doing with this, as opposed to they're going to give Rusev the belt. I'm pretty sure by the end of the day on this. Pretty sure.
I don't know. I'm not optimistic after this loss.
I'd be totally fine if they kind of did what they did with Zack Ryder in some like weird reverse way. Like, they gave Zack Ryder the good feel-good moment when he won the IC title. Then he lost it to The Miz the next night. They can just, they gave Jinder the, he's a heel. No one likes you. And then on SmackDown, Rusev finally wins the U.S. title.
To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to win the U.S. title. I would really be happy if he came to Monday Night Raw and feuded with Seth Rollins for the IC title.
See, that would be what you would call a good decision at this point.
I like the way Logan thinks. Look at that. He swoops in. He fixes everything with a great booking decision.
I love it.
But it's WWE, and based on what I saw tonight, Rusev eats a pin. He's over with the fans. He's not feuding with Rusev. Rusev not feuding with Rusev. God damn it. I'm 7 years.
I'll take that one. Let's do that.
That's a 7-star match. If I
Monster Heel 2014 Rusev versus fucking League of Nations.
He wrestles
Rusev.
himself with a mirror.
It's like Raw and Super NES. Their clothes will just change colors.
What I see is do they put Randy Orton back at the top now because he lost? He's obviously going to have a rematch on SmackDown on Tuesday because that's WWE's reasoning. Jinder wins again over Orton. Good God. And then what? Rude, because Rude has a victory over Jinder?
I feel like, in my world, Rude gets the title match on SmackDown, then loses, then attacks a babyface afterwards because he's tired of losing, then he's finally healed. But that's my rose-colored glasses I like to wear. I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they should do that.
This is a disaster. I'll be patient. I just don't see Rusev and Rusev Day going anywhere because he's a foreigner in WWE.
You know what program? If they keep him on
SmackDown, even though
he's from Canada, so it doesn't count.
By the end of this, if they keep him on SmackDown, they don't do the Rollins program like you said, Logan. If they kept him on SmackDown as a babyface against a heel Bobby Roode for the title, like maybe something, then you got something there. I'd be intrigued, but that is a big if. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Everything's a big if with Rusev at this point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna preach to Drew at this point. What I want to see is Rusev versus Chad Gable for the WWE title at SummerSlam.
Winner. Absolute winner.
There you go.
No one loses in that entire situation. No one.
Like I'd rather see Chad Gable, because he's got this kind of heel-ish face persona, and like have him and Benjamin go for the U.S. title, take it off Mahal. Rusev goes against Gable for the U.S. title. What's like all these scenarios can pop in all of our heads. Is WWE going to do any of this?
That's why I like to book it like an entire pay-per-view of Benjables just wrestling each other every match. Every match. Go there, WWE. They have the balls to make a Benjable show.
No, seriously, it's not even a meme between us anymore. Chad Gable is just fucking amazing.
Right.
We all know he's amazing, but he's booked into obscurity like the rest of the SmackDown roster.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
No, he was back there. Sorry, Chad Gable was back there. We'll get elsewhere.
I'm actually calling it now. I could see Rusev.
I don't know why Dennis Stamp popped in my head. Sorry, Logan. I'm not booked.
I could see Rusev going to Raw, like I said, and feuding with Seth Rollins, and I could see Finn Balor going over to SmackDown Live.
Oh, yeah, I can see that too. I can see Dennis
Balor
Stamp
and
being the
AJ?
GM of SmackDown too. Fuck it.
Balor and AJ is a main event program for a while. I'll take it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Then you
Fantastic.
bring the clubs into it with the mayo
Yeah.
and the toothpicks in
The
it.
Battle of the Club. Fuck yeah, SummerSlam right there.
And
Book
and
it.
I also think going forward though, I would have to say the Miz goes over to SmackDown and feuds with Daniel Bryan.
Logan, you gotta keep all these great booking decisions secret or they'll steal it. We already know WWE listens to all our shows and they steal all of our ideas usually. That makes sense.
And of course, we'll get to it, but I will say something else later.
What was after this? Because I completely forget, Logan. What was the next? Well, this Ronda time, huh? I think.
Oh man.
Wait, what was the last? No, this is the.
It was after the Fatal 4-Way. It was Kurt and Ronda versus Triple H and Stephanie.
Yep. Thank you.
2 words.
Who the
Holy
fuck
crap.
is microwave something in the background?
Probably drunk ass JD.
I hope it's
I don't hear a
delicious.
response, so it's probably him.
2 words. Blown away. 2 words. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting this to be as good as it was.
This match was far better than I thought.
It was my favorite.
Anyone thought.
It was
Oh,
my
no,
favorite.
It was my favorite match of the night. I
Yeah.
loved every second of this.
I agree.
I thought
I'm
it was
so
great.
glad Kurt.
I loved the Roddy Piper outfit that Ronda wore to the ring. I had never wanted to fuck Roddy Piper until tonight.
Really?
Well, Colin, you know what? I accepted your apology.
Well, that makes
earlier.
one of us. Sorry. Couldn't help it.
No, I don't.
Well, that's the line of the night. That's all I was here for.
Hey,
I'll
they
see y'all
live,
tomorrow.
man. It's hard to turn that
Please.
down.
Please. I need it.
I'm just glad she didn't wrestle in this shirt because at first I was like, oh, she looks like a cosplayer. And then she took it off. She's like, okay, she's got MMA shit on. Okay, thank God. I liked it, though, for just an entrance.
I can't get past the fucking line that Colin just said. I need a Percocet.
I'm trying to move it off of it. I'm trying not to think of gay
I need a
I had the
Percocet.
best line of the night. Fuck you.
I need a 6-pack of Corona and a Percocet, and I'll be fine.
Dangerous mix, my friend. Don't be a Brian Pillman about it. I'm sorry.
That was okay.
Back to the match.
Where are we? My God, it is late. It is time for the biggest build match, one of them on the show. Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, Triple H, Stephanie. We all enjoyed it. I'm going to agree. I'm going to assume.
Yeah. Ronda Rousey looked fantastic. I don't mean to cut off anybody who wanted to go first, but I decided to go. Kurt Angle looked really good. I do want to see him wrestle more. I just don't want to see him wrestle full time. I think doing what he's doing right now is just perfect.
Yeah,
Can we all agree with that?
I was glad we
I
finally
can
got to see the
agree with
Olympic
that.
hero entrance. Finally, not a Shield entrance, just the legit pyro and all. It was awesome.
It was
Man, I still can't believe that when I woke up that morning, I woke up late in the afternoon, and I just go on Twitter, first thing I see, Kurt Angle to replace Roman Reigns. Like, what the fuck kind of kayfabe news is this? And then it was real, and then it turned out to be one of the most clusterfuck best matches I've ever seen. So it was
Well,
great.
breaking news: Impact officially releases Alberto Del Rio.
Good.
I said this yesterday.
Well, it wasn't official yet. Now it's official.
Yeah, now who's gonna? You know what?
Now it's verified. Blue check mark.
Yeah.
Well, this was a pretty
Anyways.
verified match. Check marks for this match. See what
Well,
it did.
Colin, so you woke up to that news, right? So you almost kind of like walked into a Shady C given news that was fake.
Sure, if you want to make.
Well, it was unverified.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It was just unverified. I'm just verifying it.
Was anybody else, back to the match real quick, was anybody else like surprised there weren't more like femme twats on Twitter complaining that Kurt Angle attacked a woman and everybody just kind of went with it? It felt like the old days again.
I was expecting like way more. Like I really didn't see any like issue with it because I feel like I'll accredit this to a bunch of people who are doing it now, but I feel like due to the whole like intergender wrestling thing that's becoming more popular, I don't think wrestling fans seem to give a shit at this point. I think they kind of see it, as like, oh, okay. And plus, Ronda Rousey probably could beat the shit out of Triple H if she wanted to, if she got the right shot in. So, I mean, it wasn't completely unrealistic for this, whole thing. I liked when Triple H dragged Ronda and threw her out to the floor. I liked how, she was going to pedigree, or he was going to pedigree her. I liked the, Kurt Angle applying the ankle lock to Stephanie McMahon. I really liked that part.
So with that being said, did you notice, like, in kayfabe, the ref was pretty much like halfway through the match, like, yeah, fuck it, go ahead.
Yeah.
Fight.
Exactly. I think the referee was just like, you know what? I'm enjoying myself. I'm gonna just let this happen.
What are you gonna do?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
This was the only match I noticed during the night that the place, like all the fans, were actually standing.
Yeah, none of them sat down. The entire.
This was the only one.
Yeah.
This was the only one on the night.
It was awesome. It was fucking awesome.
I have to say, for what your guys saying about like the fans don't give a crap now, that is true. And to me, it letting the women do this like mixed match challenge and like tag team matches and being involved with the men like this, it makes them more important for one, and two, it makes them, it's like right down the middle. It doesn't need to be all about the men. It can be about the women too.
And plus with the Ronda, it makes fucking sense. It's not like we saw Sasha Banks putting fucking goddamn Lars Sullivan in an ankle lock. It made sense. It's Ronda. I don't have a problem with intergender wrestling, but sometimes perception's reality. Let's be honest, guys.
Yes.
Even when it's two women, perception's reality. I have a hard time with Sasha Banks' believability sometimes because she's like 98 goddamn pounds to me. Like, I don't know. But
exactly.
That's another thing. But this was done right. This was a case of, quote, empowerment for women or whatever done right. It made sense. It came off without a hitch. Like you said, the fans were nonstop on their feet. One of the best parts, if not the best part of the show, that's also arguable. But as far as an overall thing, this was better than Asuka and Charlotte. This was probably the best part of WrestleMania as a whole. This whole
I
segment.
agree.
I don't think it was the better wrestling match by any means, but it was more entertaining.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And like to your point about like the intergender wrestling thing, and you're like the whole point about believability, that's exactly right. This was believable. If you put a guy like, Ryback or Brian Cage in a match with like Peyton Royce.
They do. They put Brian Cage out there with Tessa Blanchard, and that's the matches I see. I'm like, oh, really? Like, come on.
I mean, Tessa Blanchard is actually a pretty legitimate ass kicker.
Is she an Olympian? Is she one of the most blah, 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 whatever they said about decorated Rondas?
Right. No, I get it. But to your point, like I said, that's why, I hate to name drop him again, but I'm going to do it. Guys like Joey Ryan doing this or James Ellsworth, it makes sense.
Oh, God.
And with this, it made sense.
Andy Kaufman, one of the best things. One of the best things in history of pro wrestling of all time is the whole Andy Kaufman stuff in Memphis, right? The women's wrestling channel. That was great because he never let the women really beat him, but he got his comeuppance, and it was, in a way, the women didn't get empowered, but it was that first case of intergender wrestling. And it made, because against a man, he was shit. But when he would actually wrestle the women, it wasn't a squash. It was fairly contested because it was showcasing that he was kind of a pussy at the end. He could barely beat a woman. He'd beat the women, but barely. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
yeah, and I do want to hang on, guys. I do want to do a shout out. Tonka is in the chat.
Oh my God in heaven!
Good Tonka saw in the chat. Welcome, my friend.
Yes, he says most unpredictable Mania in a while. I wasn't big on all of it, but they definitely showed people not to think they have it all figured out.
Exactly right. I love that.
Bullshit.
Vince, the main event The main event was Vince screaming to the world, Dave Meltzer doesn't book this shit. I do at the end of the day. Stop listening to him.
I loved it. I love the unpredictability of part of this show.
It wasn't unpredictable. It was just typical 101 WWE shit.
So we predicted Brock retaining.
You all thought Roman Reigns was winning. Did anyone pick Lesnar?
No.
Exactly.
Yep. Guilty as sin. We all picked Roman, and that's look at Bret Hart and Lex Luger. It's WrestleMania 10. It goes back to then. It leaked out a little bit. It was kind of predictable. And Vince said, "Nope, not doing it." Lex goes out first.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Everyone thought Asuka was going to beat Charlotte. Charlotte won.
That doesn't make it better.
Yes, it does.
Okay. To both your points. In the Charlotte Asuka match, was it better? Maybe, depending on how you figure. With the Brock and Roman match, Was Brock beating Roman unpredictable? Yes. No one thought Brock was winning.
Even though,
But
guys,
give a shit.
even
Right,
though
right, but
we'll
was
get
it
there.
better? Was
Even
it
though
a
we'll get
better
there,
book-
Roman and Brock was a shit match psychology-wise. That pretty much said every guy Joe's beat with one F5, Joe, Strowman, all those guys is a piece of shit. Only Roman is worth two shit.
Right.
Like,
By the
match-wise,
fifth
it
one-
was shitty, but just the finish of Brock winning, just that, was the only thing from that piece of shit main event with no crowd reaction at all that I took away with any kind of positivity about it. At least Vince, he still has some balls and just doesn't. He's gonna be Vince. He's gonna change his mind.
That's what I'm saying. And to his point, was Brock beating Roman a good decision? Not necessarily, because it still means we're probably not going to see the Universal Championship for another few months until a bigger show, or possibly even SummerSlam. But at least you have that, like, oh, I don't have everything figured out. Oh, there are some.
We'll definitely get to the main event more.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
for
get
sure.
there.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll get to.
Yeah, and Tonka also says, I wonder how they plan to make Roman the guy now with 3 WrestleMania failures. We will get to that, though.
You can beat everyone else on the roster again. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, no, I'm joking.
Oh.
What's up next? Besides, the Ronda stuff, we all know the finish. And like we said, the best part of the show. If you haven't seen Mania, go out of your way to catch that. Another thing I never goddamn thought I would have said going into this was make sure you catch that match, if any of them. But lo and behold, they called my bluff.
A match, however, you could skip was the next match between the Bludgeon Brothers defeating the Usos in the New Day in about 5 minutes. This match was just. This match was the piss break.
I had to check my stopwatch. I had to check my stopwatch, Colin, to make sure I wasn't 23 years old again, and I took some acid because when the New Day came out, I was like, wait a minute, it was something in my drink, because holy shit. That, if anything, that was great. I'm guilty as sin, man. I love the 3D midgets or whatever with the pig.
That was fucking beautiful. The midgets in the pancake costumes.
Come at me. I don't even give a fuck. Come at me on that. I liked it.
So cute.
Travis, I've actually met those midgets. Just saying.
You're lying to me.
No, I've been to 2 or 3 shows with them involved in, so.
Don't you lie?
That's amazing.
I'm actually friends with one of them.
Okay,
on
I had a friend over. He was like, hey, can I come over and watch Mania? I kind of want to see what it's like. And I was like, okay. And boy, howdy, did he pick a Mania to decide to get interested in. But we were watching this entrance, and we were both like on our phones during the entrance, and we both looked up for a second, and he was just like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, and I look up, I see, midgets in pancake costumes, and I just had to look at him, and I'm like, that's the New Day for you.
Yep.
You think Vince...
I thought if there was going to be a gimmick match that they'd pull on us, this would be it. Instead, we didn't get a single gimmick match all night.
How many times?
It was a fatal 4-way, a triple threat, a tag, single.
If this was a ladder match and it went 10, 15 minutes, it would have been so much better than what we got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the booking. I like how they made the Bludgeon Brothers out to be complete ass kickers, and they beat, the Usos, who are one of, if not the best tag team in wrestling today, and the New Day, who are established as, on paper, one of the greatest tag teams in WWE. I like that. They showed, these guys are ass kickers. Don't mess with them. But I feel like they could have had a better match than what they put on.
Chris Jericho on his podcast, he said, look, if you're going to have a short match, this was the one on the card. Make it 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. Just have the Bludgeon Brothers just go out there, kick the shit out of guys. Just be like, hey, sorry, we got other shit to do. And he turned out to be right, just on the time scale.
I'm just wondering how many times Triple H has had to talk Vince backstage out of marketing Aunt Jemima bottles after the New Day. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, Vince. People will get offended. He just wants to do it so bad.
I would so buy a maple syrup.
That's literally all I've been thinking about when this match was on, this whole conversation, because the match was I zoned out. I literally zoned out. I had a feeling Bludgeon was going to win, even though I didn't predict him. But yeah, I was just like, it was underwhelming, if anything. The Usos and the New Day always get the short end of the stick, except that Hell in a Cell match, which they put fucking effort into to promote. They always get booked in spots that are come down spots in a way. This match had hard-hitting spots in it. I don't think the match was bad for what it was. It definitely showcased the Bludgeons, like you said, as Bruiser Brody and fucking shit kicker number 2. It was great as far as that. And if
Those guys
anything, man,
deserve
I
it,
don't think
too.
we can bitch about the finish too much when all we do is complain about how nothing changes. So it's fine to see some new blood finally get those titles. It desperately needs some new fingers on it, really. I'm okay
Those
with
guys
it.
have put in their
Legit.
time too. They've put in their time. They deserve it.
But the Skyrim gimmick,
but-
it's not fucking working.
A part of me is happy to see Luke Harper and Eric Rowan win tag team gold. I had wanted them to do that for a while. And I mean, did it happen the way I wanted? No. But am I happy to see them with titles? Yes.
If only WWE gave a shit about the tag titles.
Yeah.
We're not done with tag titles, unfortunately.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but-
Oh no,
god.
it's not. This
Hang on.
wasn't even the craziest story.
But I do agree with what Tonka says in the chat. The Usos' first Mania match should have been a little more, especially since it's the WrestleMania moment. And he also says the Usos are too dependable. They get the worker spot, but not the consideration.
Exactly. And real quick, Logan makes fun of me all the time off air about my internet. All apologies to anyone that stops by my chat. I cannot put it up or my shit'll crash out. I have Kmart internet or whatever Logan calls it all the time. But if you are there, I appreciate it. I don't want you guys to think I'm not giving you the time of day, because trust me, I wish I could have better setup. But yeah, that's why. So thank you, Logan, for making the chats.
I call it Taco Bell internet because at least McDonald's has a connection.
Never
Very
make
true.
another joke.
Very true.
Just don't. They're not working.
Yes,
They're not.
McDonald's connects. They at least have Wi-Fi. Talk about you can't even find it.
I'm giving you gems.
I was trying to find a segue in that, but I'm just gonna move right along to the Undertaker. By God, I said it wasn't gonna happen. I didn't want it to happen, but by God, if by the end of this I was just like, fuck yes, it was handled fine. The Undertaker beat John Cena in a match that was 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Cena made it great.
John Cena went to WrestleMania, and he was in the audience for 8 matches. He actually just, sat there, had a couple of beers, enjoyed himself, and then, the referee was like, hey, the Undertaker's here. And then he hopped the barricade, which, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if he's there as a fan, why is he allowed to do that? Someone arrest this man. But anyways, he hopped the barricade. He comes out. My favorite part of the whole thing was the lights go out for the first time, and all you hear is that guitar string, and out comes Elias. And I'm like, this is the best fucking thing ever.
He botched it for a second. He slipped on a string. I think he was a little jittery.
Yeah, he kind of, prematured it there. But I thought this entire segment, from John Cena making his entrance to, Undertaker leave, I thought the entire thing was done way better than I thought. You can go back to the prediction show and listen to everything I said. I went on a rant about how I didn't want this, and I thought this was going to be just some terrible, terrible shit. But I'll be damned if the Undertaker didn't look damn impressive.
You see, that is exactly why you are part of the new regime on Slam Pigs podcast as a new co-host. And here's my hashtag new segment, Logan. You ready? Hashtag fickle fucks of the week. The same goddamn people that rightfully so, myself included, complained that even though the match was lackluster with Roman, that should have been it. He shouldn't come back. Kuzan put it the best I've ever heard it on our episode. Not to self-promote, but I'm just saying he really did when he said when you have a great fucking story, a book, a movie, what have you, a beginning, a great middle, a great end. When it's done, it's complete. You don't rip up the fucking pages and just glue it back together and keep writing. It's done. And more times than not, it always ends up coming off gas grabby and bullshit. But the same goddamn people that complained that he doesn't need to have another. At least you aren't complaining about it being a squash match. They're complaining that it didn't go longer. What the fuck do you people want?
I thought it was absolutely handled amazingly.
I do too. If I have to see this fucking old goddamn man who can't let it go, who needs another guy, you know what? It's yes, he's done great, but it's fucking time. This was the best way to possibly book him as a one-off little fucking WrestleCon type. It had a WrestleCon fucking appearance feel to it, or a house show spot or something.
Exactly.
Do you really think for 1 second this is the last we'll see of this now?
God no. That's where probably. I don't think. Maybe I don't know. We might get an actual match, a year from now. That's the part that will fuck this entire thing up.
See, that's where my issue is. I don't have an issue with the match itself. There were some spots that I was wondering what the hell was wrong with Cena during this thing. Like, did he have one too many beers in the audience before the match? That's what it
he was drinking from like the first match, so I mean, possibly. First of all, I just shout out to one particular part in the match when he's about to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle. He bounces off the ropes. Undertaker sits up, and John Cena looked fucking terrified. He jumped in midair. And was like, oh shit! It was great.
Yeah, I mean, Undertaker, of course, looked a little slow. That was expected. He's got an artificial hip. He's broken everything in his body at least once at this point. My worry is that this isn't the last we'll see. I think this is either going to set up a SummerSlam or Survivor Series match with Cena as like a redemption, or even they'll do another year in the making thing with Cena, and we'll see one next year. The match itself, it was booked as well as it could be.
That's what's going to ruin it. But if they do the Undertaker beats Cena in a quick match, the Undertaker actually looked pretty decent for once. I had no complaints as far as the Undertaker goes. If they just did this, it's done, and Cena goes away to make another movie or whatever, I'm fine with this. Like, this is the one scenario where I'm just like, you know what? I'm fine with this. Cool.
Well, Tonka says Kuzan was right, but if Taker was going to Terry Funk it, this is the best way to go with it. A quick challenge. My opinion, though, I would have to say, I don't think this is the end of John Cena versus Undertaker.
I don't think it is either. I wanted to, but unfortunately, there's probably going to be more.
Because Cena could turn heel, just saying, bear with me, and say, hey, I was caught off guard thinking he wasn't actually going to show up.
He's not turning heel, ever.
I know, but my booking,
If he turns heel, but he doesn't go back to the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick, then it's not worth it at this point.
I feel like I've scared Drew into hiding because I got so angry. Word. God, just this...
Well, I mean, me and you kind of took over for our excitement of how much better this was than what we thought, but, we should probably let other people, have their
Logan's
go.
mad at me now. Logan's mad at me.
Oh.
No, I'm never mad at anybody. I think for now, this was the perfect way to introduce The Undertaker. He didn't need to do much, and that's all you can really ask of him at this stage.
He would have been blown up in 5 more minutes, honestly. Let's be real.
Well,
I think he was almost blown up then.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, it was great. I thought it was great. I thought the whole thing was great. I thought the really slow burn of the whole thing up until the exact moment that it happened, I thought that was great because they don't do that anymore. And, if they're going to do anything, squash him, just have Undertaker have a nice moment and then, give it a little more build to the Lesnar-Roman thing because they both beat a guy that just squashed John Cena at WrestleMania.
I just want to talk about Terry Funk to get the... Terry Funk.
There was a big Terry Funk spot in the ladder match at Ring of Honor last night.
There you go. Relevancy.
There you go.
I'll take it.
The way the commentators were talking after the match was the Undertaker's back and he's better than ever. So, looks like he's not.
Of course he's going to say that. He said it last year. He said it the year before. He says it every year when he looks older. They have to say. Well, what is he going to say? Well, he looks tired, Logan. He's really tired looking out there.
Well, I just think if he was actually going to retire, they wouldn't actually mention it that way.
I mean, Jim Ross on commentary during the Battle Royal was making fun of Rhino because he got fat. So, I mean, at this point, who cares? I'm not kidding. Go back. He was legitimately like, Rhino joining the super heavyweight since I last saw him. I was like, God damn, JR.
Really to zip up the bag on this, if anyone thought Taker wasn't appearing, I don't know. I mean, and people are like, anyone that thought he was going to be the American Badass is dumb. I'll be honest, I could have seen him doing that. It would have been great because he put so much real life shit into the promos. It would have made more sense as opposed to just like, hey, it's 2007 Taker and so on again. Just the same shit. I mean, shout out to Solid Monsters. He predicted that's how he would have booked it, and I got to agree with that too. You know, that would have been at least different something. But you know what? This was fine. This was exactly what it needed to be. If you're gonna do it, this is how you should have done it. And they did it. Do. Pretty much.
Thank you, Tonka. Thank you. They should have had Kane in him, and they both be done. Thank you.
That's how you do it.
God.
If you're gonna do it again, do it with Kane. What, next year? Just do it. Just come on, and they can help Kane run for mayor
Tonka Saw, but respectfully, I don't want to see Kane and Undertaker have a retirement match against each other.
I feel like if they both know
Well, if
that's
there's
it,
fire.
those two would surprise people.
Well, fuck it. If there's fire, then book it immediately.
It's not. I don't think Tonka's saying it is they should do it. It should have, like, in the past when they both.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of they should have done with Taker in the past. In Mania's Punk, Kane's had multiple matches. I mean, the end of an era.
Can you just put
shit.
Taker in the Battle Royal then? That'll be good. They'll throw each other out and they'll be done.
Let's be real. Dare I say it should have stopped when he beat Brock at SummerSlam and got his heat back at that time for the Mania loss. I mean, if the Bray Wyatt match was fucking pointless, the Roman match, Roman was going to be elevated either way. Roman didn't really need that. I mean, and he had great heat from that at first, the Raw after in a couple weeks, but it kind of just they just kept going with it back to the, at least they're not tater tot line, and then but back to the tried and true. Let's try to force him down as a babyface again, and it's shown.
It took his catchphrase. Roman got his catchphrase. That's what the Mania match was.
They need to be smarter with their booking with Roman at the end of the day, because he is over on house shows. He is over on Raws. There is a demographic. Casuals like Roman Reigns. People like Roman Reigns. And I feel like there are fans out there who say they hate Reigns. They want to like Reigns. How he's placed and booked on shows when a dead-ass tired crowd who just witnessed a work shift's length of wrestling might not be the best way to do it. Maybe get him out there, dare I say, take a risk earlier on the goddamn card when the crowd's a little bit hotter, comes off a little bit better. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will get there. We will get there. The next match was what? Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus KO and Sami Zayn.
Fantastic.
Sure.
No complaints at all.
Loved it.
That crowd was fucking on fire for Daniel Bryan.
It was so good.
I loved it. I got chills again. I was just like, man, these are the moments in wrestling. I'm just like, man, I love being a wrestling fan.
I agree.
It was fine. I wasn't on fire for it. I was like, cool, Daniel Bryan's back. That was it.
You cynical bastard, you.
Well, I mean, it was exactly what I expected. I didn't expect Daniel Bryan to like get powerbombed and he was out for half the match. I thought it would be the other way around. That way we're all hyped up for Daniel Bryan's valiant comeback, maybe a hot tag to Shane, but I still don't know how Shane was cleared, if that hernia was even real at this point. Now I question that. I think the thing was the diverticulitis. I don't know what that is, but I'm just assuming here. I think I heard that was real and he was like being treated for that. The hernia was part of the storyline. Well, the diverticulitis, that's not a 1 week recovery. Or even a 2. That's like a 6-week thing. So
trust me. So you can do a lot of shit with the hernia. It's the recovery after you get it removed that you're pretty much immobile. While you have it, you're in a ton of shitload of pain, but you can still do stuff like he was doing. But it's that once you get the surgery, it's like a 6-week recovery time.
But that first half of the match, like I could have gave 2 shits. I was just waiting for Daniel Bryan to come back because that's when I cared.
It was storytelling, in my opinion.
All it did was make Shane McMahon look strong.
Which, dare I say, that character desperately needed too, because talk about stale as old bread. Fuck. And it kind of, I think by the end of it, the embrace with Bryan and how Shane looked, and I don't think Shane was selling. A lot of that, I think that was legit, by the way. I felt for Shane in this match.
I think it usually is when he wrestles.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Shane McMahon is still just has the worst work punch I've ever seen in my life.
Cena, I mean... We'll get there.
No, Shane McMahon is way worse than Cena.
Yeah, Shane McMahon looks like he's hitting an empty bag of potatoes.
You've seen Sid Vicious throw a punch, right? Just say it.
Well, we're not talking about yesterday. We're talking about today.
Have you seen him take a dive off the top rope?
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just nice to see Daniel Bryan back. At the end of the day, that's what this was for, and it did its job.
thought you were talking about the leg break at first. I didn't mind it because I almost threw up when I saw Sid break his leg, but that's off topic. But yeah, I think we're on agreement.
I go back and watch it all the time.
I was gonna say Corey Graves on commentary. Really, just there's so much stuff that he says that really helps him match out. And him saying Pat Patterson came up to hug Shane McMahon and he winced during catering earlier in the day. I was
That
like,
was awesome.
oh, I was like, wow, that's great, but probably because he didn't want to be touched inappropriately.
Oh, that wasn't awesome.
I'm not co-signing that, Logan.
It was the right booking decision at the end of the day. One of the few things we can agree on, I suppose.
And they can still spin it. I mean, to get those two back in the store, in the company or whatever, or they could just show up on Raw. Fuck it.
They're just going to show up on Raw, because then it would be a dumb kayfabe decision. Like, why wouldn't Stephanie and Kurt Angle hire...
Stephanie and Kurt Angle went out of their way
Shane
to sign them, and they attack Kurt Angle backstage, and that takes Kurt Angle.
I think they'll be off TV until Backlash, because they advertise Backlash as a dual-branded show. It's heavily rumored it's going to be a draft or a shakeup. I think they'll be off of TV until then, and then like in the shakeup or in the draft, however they do it, they'll say, "Oh yeah, Owens and Zayn are coming to Raw."
God, does that hurt? What is? Are all the call-ups going to SmackDown then?
It's good. Do you remember those salad shakers McDonald had back in the day?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Every time they have one of these superstar shakeups, it's kind of like that, except the dressing inside shit, and Vince keeps shaking things up till the booking's fucked up, and he's got to spend a year fixing it again.
Vince is getting his dressing all over it, pal.
Balsamic vinaigrette,
really the booking's getting a little bit better right now, so it's. But I don't think you necessarily need a draft. I think you just need to add some fresh new pieces from NXT or something.
Or
they need to just
use
not
Ty
rape...
Dillinger in a way he's supposed to be used.
They need to not rape SmackDown like they did the last time. SmackDown was great, and the Superstar shakeup happened, and then it just all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Logan, speaking of going downhill, the rest of this pay-per-view, where did that?
Oh, from then on, absolutely, it was a.
Yeah.
It was a
from then on, it became a little bit interesting, to say the least.
I think Drew might disagree with some of it, because I think Drew really liked this for the most part.
Yeah,
and that's not to say you're wrong. I just didn't get a lot of
it. It was weird. I enjoyed it.
I'm open to a Shinsuke Nakamura heel turn. I think if done right, finally.
Hey, we still have a women's match to get to before we get to that match.
I know, I was just saying in general because it popped in my head, but let's go there. Let's go to Nia and Alexa, and I'll save it. You're right.
I thought this match was fantastic.
I liked it for what it was. I thought Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss was gonna just be fucking terrible. I thought it was just gonna be awful, and it was actually really good for what for what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, and I do like the fact that Nia took out Mickie James prior to the.
That was so great. I loved it just before the match. He's like, you know what, real quick, and then just brutally murdered her at ringside.
Yep, and I really enjoyed that. And then I think it's time for Alexa Bliss to lose the championship. To be honest with you, I think Nia Jax does deserve it with a little bit of what she's done, but then again, it's like she's lost so much momentum going into this match that she was just like, kind of thrown in there, and I didn't really like that.
Nia Jax got the win for the moment, which was perfect, and the feud was perfect, and the match was great and everything. But I still think she won the belt, and it won't be very long. I think it was just for this show.
That's what I'm thinking.
Who does she lose it to, do you think, then?
She better fucking lose it to Asuka immediately.
You could spin it like if you want to long-term her this with the title, spin it how she ends up becoming everything she hates because the title goes to her head. Then you bring in any kind of babyface challenger who's over with the crowd, and you kind of go from there if you want to heal her, because I think she comes off better as a heel, personally.
And then bring in Alexa Bliss as a babyface.
I mean, you could go that route, full circle.
Christ.
Everyone's abandoned Alexa.
year.
Mickey's abandoned Alexa. Everyone's given up on Alexa. She's distraught to where you can't help but feel for her. And then maybe, because she lost the belt, she lost everything. And somehow they spin that back. They could even throw in angles. Let's say, fantasy book the shit out of it. Buddy Murphy ends up winning the Cruiserweight title. You could even show vignettes of even he's just like, I got nothing for you. or even he's mean to her. Like she's truly lost everything. I don't know.
That
However,
would be something.
I didn't. I liked. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. Like you guys, I didn't love it, but I thought it was good.
I thought the storytelling was great in it. I thought that worked out well.
Exactly.
Yeah, the fat shaming was great, right?
Oh.
See, everybody wants to know what the future holds for Nia Jax and the women's title, and I'm kind of just thinking back here in the back, like, what are they going to do next for Ronda Rousey?
Honestly, that's a good point. Like, Ronda Rousey says she's like, she's full-time, she's going to be at Raws, live events, all that. What does she do?
And also, the fat shaming thing, real quick, guys.
Don't get me started. I'm muting my mic now.
It's not even that. It's fucking wrestling. Look, some of the most glorified promos are The Rock from the Attitude Era. He was way harsher on multiple men in promos than anything Alexa Bliss said. In one promo, Rock would bury a guy way more than Alexa Bliss said about anything. I just think people are too sensitive, and I just think that sometimes that is needed. Just like in a movie, it's what the fuck? I mean,
it was probably their idea.
Exactly.
Fuck. It's probably Alexa.
I think if anything, it enhanced it. If he took that out, it would have just been, well, Nia's going for the title again, except this time the people like her. I mean, it was a little nuance, as they love to say, that it was added to it. And I was fine with it. It didn't offend me. And at least Nia actually she won, so it was like, hooray for the people that get made fun of.
Yes, Nia won. Give her that.
She just about crushed Alexa Bliss, though, with that like middle rope Samoan drop. Like, that finish was that was brutal.
That was awesome.
Tonka makes a good point. Nia needs to be a monster, not a positive person at all. Exactly. They have booked her really weird. And I'm going to go off on that, to be honest with you. Being a bigger person, I could care less what anybody else thinks of me. So it doesn't really make Nia Jax look, relevant in that way, as a big person. Like, she shouldn't give a shit what anybody else says.
Dare I say
it makes her go out there and be a monster.
Dare I say, Logan, it makes her look weaker. Like she can't hack a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what the problem is here.
That if I don't give a shit what other people think of me, she shouldn't as a monster.
I completely agree with every bit of that, except for the way this was booked up to it. I thought it was perfect.
I mean, I'm saying going forward.
Sure.
But for the past, it's like, oh, okay, this could be the one-off, but do not continue it.
I'm honestly, I get what you're saying, Logan. I'm also a bigger guy. I mean, we're both bigger people and in different ways, but I understand. Like, if I don't know how Nia felt about the storyline. I don't know if she gave a shit or not. I don't know if part of it was, kind of real to her because she is a bigger woman. But, like, I can relate to the storyline. I have been bullied all my life for being overweight, and especially by people, if I'm like the Nia Jax, I've been bullied by people, like Alexa Bliss, who, really skinny, never have to worry about that kind of thing. I understand the storyline. I get it. And, like, me personally, I tend not to give a shit what people say, but sometimes it gets to me. So, like, I get it. I got the storyline, and I enjoyed watching it play out, and I enjoyed, from a personal perspective, watching Nia Jax, someone who is, deals with weight issues, even now. I enjoyed personally watching her win. I like this. This was like a feel-good moment to me personally.
But
now that she's the... Sorry, Travis, go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just now that she's the champion, and don't continue the storyline, because, for example, Killian Dane in NXT, you do not see him complaining or crying about somebody talk about his weight. Oh, you shouldn't be able to climb a ladder. Blah, 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 blah. To me, just don't move.
Right,
move
but
on.
I mean, in the real world, men and women are looked at in a totally different perspective. If an overweight guy is if a guy is overweight, people tend not to really care about that compared to if a girl is overweight. It's just kind of how it is. And so it makes sense to me that they've, do the storyline with Nia Jax compared to a Killian Dane or a Lars Sullivan or something like that.
It gets complicated, and it goes back to, and I 100% agree with what Tonka said about the Monster Heel thing. I always have to hold back anytime Nia Jax is brought up, talking about, why are we here in the first place? There's no reason someone shouldn't have by now picked up the mantle of what Karma should have been when she came in. Because we saw that Awesome Kong and Gail Kim are quite capable of having kick-ass matches with just a regular plain old monster heel and a babyface. It's possible. God forbid we do it. But alas, this is what we have. And sometimes you got to roll up your sleeve. What you're left with is what you got. And like I said, I liked it. I just got to accept that's what they're doing with Nia. Could be worse, I guess. It could always be worse, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I like what Tonka says. It's a weird lack of awareness. I mean, they have Rousey now. What mountain will she climb? Asuka, they just killed the streak. I mean,
they'll try Ronda and Charlotte, but for me, I see them at the end of the day. A year from now, maybe a little bit more, it'll be Baszler and Ronda. That's the closest thing they probably have. And you can tell the excitement in my voice for that. I'm sure JD, though. You probably want that really bad. And I can see the hype for that if booked well. I really can. I'm just right now.
I don't want to see Baszler Ronda.
There you go.
I don't want to see two similar styles clashing like that.
You're right though. What's left? What mountain would there be? They need to get on it fast. They got some time though, I guess.
I don't. To me, right now though, I can't say like the streak is really that important when it comes to Asuka versus Ronda Rousey, because it's going to be, Asuka put on a really good match with Charlotte. She gave it her all, and Charlotte did as well. So it's like Ronda's going to do the same thing, and they might be equal, just like Charlotte and Asuka was tonight.
Hogan in the 80s, one of the most, you always expected him to win. It was never an afterthought that he would lose a match. Didn't have a streak. She doesn't need that streak. If anything, it's established her as fuck now. And now she's like, she's made right now. Asuka.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Shall we move on, gentlemen, to the WWE title match?
Thank you, Colin. Of course, It is time for what the most. I mean, first of all, it didn't close the show. Should it have? Would we have rather seen it go in front of a more tired crowd, seeing that the Brock and Roman stuff, even though it was hard hitting, a bloodbath at the end, got nothing? I mean,
honestly, with the way this ended, I'm more okay with Brock and Roman main eventing, given how this match went, because, I mean, unbeknownst to me, the match went about 20 minutes. I thought
it went exactly 20 minutes, like to the clock.
I'm seeing 20 minutes, 20 seconds, but it's neither here nor there. To me, and I don't know if this is because it was good, because I wasn't paying enough attention to it. To me, the match felt like 7 minutes. I thought the match was over before it even started. First of all, really quick, shout out to the guitarist from Alice Cooper, or I don't remember what her name was. That entrance was fucking badass. That was a great entrance for Nakamura.
She's really good.
Yes, she is. She shredded that thing. But anyways, I mean, I like the match. I just thought, to me, it felt way shorter than it should have been. And I mean, it wasn't. It was 20 minutes long, so I can't complain about the time. And like I said, I don't know if it wasn't because I was paying attention enough, because it was that good. But I mean, I liked the match. I enjoyed the match. I thought the ending was a bit just like, oh, okay, that's it. And I mean, I feel like that's because nowadays it's expected that people are going to kick out of someone's finisher 17 times.
You're right.
And so one style, and I think that's the main reason why I'm getting like a weird, just like, this was a weird match feeling, because I wasn't counting. I think there was a phenomenal forearm. There was a few, calf killers in there, but one styles clash and then it was done. I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, it could have been also because I was fully expecting Nakamura to win. I had no doubt in my mind. And then one styles clash, it's done. I was like, oh, okay.
Same thing happened with the Charlotte Asuka match.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. It was one
relief.
Finisher, it was done. And, it was weird. And then the thing happened after the match where, you think Nakamura is going to be like, oh, here's your title. You beat me fair and square. He was going to take the same route as Asuka did. Nope. low blow, and we're getting a heel Nakamura, which I'm excited for. I don't know about anybody else. I'm excited for the prospect of a heel Nakamura. I don't know how great it's going to be.
It's too soon. It's too soon. This match was a bare bones title match. They weren't able to do any sort of in-ring storytelling. It was just move after move after move. There was a little bit of injury selling for about 2 moves, and then it was gone. The Nakamura heel turn does nothing for me. It gives me a little, shock value for the moment and maybe for a few weeks, but then what do you do with Nakamura after that? Why couldn't this be the other way around? I've seen the Foreigner be the bad guy in WWE for 40 years. And yes, I'm only 30, but I've seen past matches plenty of times. I've seen the Foreigner be the bad guy. This is also the second Japanese star, the second Royal Rumble winner on the night to lose. I had AJ Styles winning. I'm not happy with it. I called WWE out saying they don't have the balls to put the title on a Japanese star, let alone a foreigner these days. Why couldn't this be the other way around? Why couldn't Styles lose?
Nakamura's stale.
I think Triple
But you can still build. They're stale. He's stale because of WWE with the whole gender thing.
I think
just
Triple
because
H.
a guy's stale, you can still build him up. Have Styles beat the shit out of him. That immediately makes you sorry for him. There are other ways to go around this. Having Nakamura heel already this shortened into his main roster career, it just raises red flags for me immediately.
What would he have done as a babyface after this, though? Because with him turning heel, it gives them a reason to continue this AJ Styles and Nakamura feud, which I will have to assume. I mean, I could be wrong given the way they booked tonight, but I have to assume at the end of this feud, Nakamura will be walking away as WWE champion. If he was still a babyface and this didn't happen, what did they do?
You could have just had it the other way around. You could have had it the other way around. Chris Jericho said it best. I'm tired of this Nakamura bullshit. That's what they're doing right here. Now a heel move? Okay. Do I think he's going to win the title down the line? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to win now. I'm tired of this Nakamura bullshit and him not winning. He's lost to Jinder. Now he's lost at WrestleMania. How am I to expect he's going to win anything?
Threw out Roman in the Rumble. I mean, that's, if anything, that was something.
So did Randy Orton last year.
Yeah, but the only issue is Randy Orton won his match.
Nakamura didn't. WWE just doesn't know what to do with foreigners except make them bad guys.
I think when you hear the
I'm tired of it. I've seen it 1,000 times. It does nothing for me anymore.
The speculated butting of heads between Triple H and Vince you hear about. I think Triple H has a totally different vision for Nakamura than Vince, and that's probably one of the things they butt the heads the most about.
Absolutely. We saw Nakamura as a babyface with his entrance in NXT. They didn't have to do anything.
But at the same time,
except put on good matches.
But at the same time, if I'm sitting on my couch weekly and I'm seeing the less and less hype weekly for guys like Bobby Roode, Nakamura, Triple H has to notice that stuff too. And sometimes in wrestling, you got to shake shit up. You just have to. And Collins, you're both right, but I'm more leaning towards what do you do with him after this if you won the title as a babyface? Because you do the rematch with Styles, you do 2 out of 3, whatever. But dude, I feel like he's been growing stale, and that's their fault. That is 100%. He should have been handled completely different, and that's been beaten like a dead horse on many shows. But just basics to summarize it up, he should have been handled in less is more type segments. And fuck it, subtitles. Fucking subtitles. I'm all about they're doing with Almas now. That's a good thing. And I co-sign that all day when JD, you bring that up all the time. Should have been less is more with Nakamura. Why is he an artist? Why is he special? Not just opposes, hey, I'm an artist. I'm here. I'm from Japan. And by the way, I'm glad that Nakamura didn't tap out because that would have gave them some fucking sick reason to have a shirt that says Jap's gonna tap because then they both would have submitted at WrestleMania, Asuka and Nakamura. So thank God. But you know what?
Can we make that shirt, Travis?
People are speaking of beating with. I wish. Goddamn, start a Patreon just for that goddamn shirt, and then shut down the Patreon when we get shirts. I feel like people are gonna bitch about the match placement on this. Back to that square one, the root of this whole when we started reviewing this match. I feel like this should have probably been flipped with Roman and Brock, just because This would have had heat either way, whereas opposed to placement was critical to Roman and Brock, I feel like, as opposed to generating the crowd heat that's going to come off on camera, which we didn't get. This would have been a perfect way to close Mania with nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw this coming. And credit to Shinsuke, he played a great dickhead. He just kept kicking him like he was a sack of shit.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I know
I
what
mean,
you
we've
mean.
seen
I've
heel
I've
Shinsuke
seen
in
King
Japan.
of Strong
That's
style.
nothing new, He's capable of doing it, for sure.
Of course, I don't doubt Nakamura's ability because he's a fantastic wrestler. He's a good heel. He's a good face.
But I do
Naturally,
agree with
it
what
depends
you
on
said.
booking. Yes, this should have been flipped. Because at least we'd be walking out of Mania going, "Holy crap! Look at that! What happened?" Depending, I have my reasonings that I do. Sure. Am I interested in the near future? Yeah, I just have my opinions on what the long-term gain is.
Oh yeah, totally. And I feel like, if anything, this is worth taking a risk on, especially just this little glimpse of him as a heel. He looks like like I said, we've seen him in Japan as a heel. He's capable of doing it. But I agree with you totally on you can't build up something as a dream match. And I can literally get on YouTube right now and I can watch their match from a Wrestle Kingdom. You got to let them let loose. You got to give them more time, like you said. That's the obvious. But and by the way, that counter into the Styles Clash was tremendous. That was great. I love the finish.
Sure, one counter.
I think the way the matches actually were, though, the actual main event in this match, the way they played out, if you would have swapped them, I think it would have fell flat. It would have been a little bit of shock factor, but I think the fact, we'll get to it, that Brock won was a little more.
I think it's.
I think that was definitely more shocking.
But I'm not debate. I will never debate that Roman and Brock with your casuals, the audience you want to grab. Everyone is probably your bigger money match to advertise.
Yes.
But it's been proven with Mania sells itself the name. The matches don't sell out the show anymore, and you could have booked it anywhere and still promoted it to sell buys for the show as your money match. It didn't matter really where you booked it. I feel like I don't know, but it's we all know what they did. It's done. It cannot be undone, right? What they fucking.
It was still cool. Still entertaining.
Here's what should have happened, though. Make that Lesnar-Reigns match 10 minutes less and add that to the Styles-Nakamura match so they could have told more of a story. Then I could have maybe been behind a Nakamura heel turn even more.
That last match would have really sucked.
Nicholas probably could have gone to bed earlier for school, and Braun probably just could have squashed the bar in 3 minutes, and that would have been fine. He could have won the belts by himself.
That's pretty much what he did. Fucking hands down, just best what the fuck kind of moment of the entire show was Nicholas Strowman.
I was going to say though, we didn't get Logan's
Lesnar-Reigns thing.
We didn't get Logan's thoughts on the AJ Nakamura stuff.
Half of the Lesnar F5s.
We'll get to the main event in a second, but Logan, what did you think of Nakamura and Styles?
Number 1, it was unpredictable. 2, Nakamura's theme song's gonna change after tonight.
God, I hope not.
3,
it needs to. You know why? People sing along with it. You don't want to do that for a heel.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Bobby Roode in NXT. Just saying.
What do? They took it as turning babyface. They won't know any better. They'll just keep flipping him back and forth between babyface and heel. They keep the music the same, I feel like. They'll just get confused.
3, if you would have switched the Nakamura AJ Styles to the main event, here's why it would have been good to do that. And it's not the fact that why they were booing Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. We'll get to that. But for Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, a lot of people on social media said SmackDown Live has been very bad recently. That it's hard to even watch. That some people don't even watch it anymore because it just slowly started fading to just predictable, stupid, same old booking. Okay, I think the momentum that this heel turn would have gave at SmackDown Live to end WrestleMania would have got more eyes on SmackDown Live going forward.
I don't know. I have a real issue with Nakamura as a heel because he can't cut any promos unless they do subtitles. If they do subtitles and then he says a line like Kenny Omega in Japan, like, I'm speaking Japanese, I don't need to do this for you Americans.
I feel like
that might do it for me, but what are they gonna? How is Nakamura gonna be able to do anything other than moves as a heel?
Getting a mouthpiece.
What matters to them is that water cooler talk, though. People are talking about it, and you're right. They got me. I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do now on SmackDown. So they got one at least.
I'm afraid it's only going to be until that big Royal Rumble in a couple weeks, and then nothing.
I'm excited for that one.
I think people underestimate that this is exactly what WWE wants a lot of times. There's a bunch of dudes sitting around complaining about how they're booking stuff. This is what they want. They want us to be talking about, why would they do this? Or, I like that they do this. This is exact, and that's fine. And I don't think anybody could really predict this happening tonight, but I think, if anything, it's got to be for the better of the sake of the show, like you said, Logan, because it definitely needs something fucking different.
But they needed the momentum going into SmackDown Live for the future, and I think it would have done it.
And just remember, I think all of us know Nakamura, the way he's been booked as a babyface, he's just that close to being annoying. So it might just take a little shove to get it there.
That's their fault too. The artist lines and all that shit.
Absolutely. Yep.
Just let the guy go out, be a little zany, and kick some ass. It's that simple with Nakamura. Just let him.
They won't do that with him, though. They'll probably force him to talk and be neat.
No, he's fucking Japanese prince. That's what he is to them. It's just,
He'll get the crown now, right? Maybe that's all it'll be. He has a crown, he's a heel.
It's just more WWE being 101. They're just sticking to their formula. It's irritating.
I hope that he has.
I am an irritated fan with Mania tonight.
I just hope, best case scenario, and Drew, you'll appreciate this. He has a whole heel stable, and like Sato, Tanaka, all those guys are in there, like classic guys, fucking Wang, and all the just this Japanese Yakuza type gimmick. Make him. He's a heel now. Make him Yakuza. That's what they do too.
Look, you got. Okay, here. I'll be open-minded. Here. Sorry. Nakamura's heel. Build a stable. You got 205 Live coming on, like SmackDown and what have you, right? They got Itami and Tozawa, like got their Japanese little tag team going on. Make a New Japan stable. We're already seeing that in NXT with a Ring of Honor type stable. Make a New Japan one.
Make it happen. Why not? Something.
Make it happen. That and then they just talk Japanese. No subtitles, no nothing. They just yell Japanese at us.
It's got to be better.
We don't know what the fuck they're saying. They're just angry people kicking ass.
I'm sorry. I cannot come around on Cruiserweight Tag Team titles yet. It's going to take a little while, but it's got to be better than being.
Get used to it. We're going to be talking about it on Cruise Control before you know it.
God. That's what I'm saying. Make a stable of all the Japanese wrestlers. Just if you're going to go in on this, go all in. I don't want to see it half-assed.
Half-assed, half-size, half-pint, half-child. I'm fucking... What do we have next?
Half-child?
My God.
Moving forward.
Braun needs a partner. Who's it going to be?
Myers.
This is going to be a thing.
Give him Myers.
God, I can't fucking wait for the payoff to this match. I can't wait for Raw tomorrow.
I'm picturing King Kong Bundy squashing the midgets, and I'm picturing this kid, and that's I shouldn't because it's an actual
I saw a tweet, and it was by Jimmy Havoc, who is just fantastic, and he says he wanted to see Nicholas get tagged in and just take a lariat that just fucking decapitated him. I wanted to see Sheamus kick this child so hard.
He goes like flying up the ramp, and he like slides up like a reverse slip and slide from the brogue kick.
The jokes coming out of this match is the highlight, and that shouldn't be.
The amount of jokes that have happened are fucking fantastic.
Now, let me remind you guys, they put it between Nakamura and Styles and Lesnar and Reigns. So the two assumed main event matches, they put this between. We had to assume it was going to be something like this.
Right.
This is exactly what I'm calling right now for tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Kurt Angle's going to come out. Cesaro and Sheamus are going to come out. They're going to complain about it. They're going to say that match should not have happened because he is not a WWE contracted superstar. You know what I mean? And then Braun's going to come out, and then bam, he's going to actually have a tag team partner.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. It's even worse.
God.
It's going to be a recurring segment with Braun Strowman where he goes out in the audience and just picks somebody to be his partner every night.
What if Nicholas ends up being his son in storyline, and they do that, and they put custody over a ladder? Knowing them.
Oh, man.
That's when Rey Mysterio can make his return.
There you go. Look at that, dude. See?
Boom.
He's a name.
That'd be great. But no, as like a pure like WrestleMania, like what the fuck is happening moment. I thought this was just one of the best. Just like, well, that's not what I expected kind of things. I loved this. I thought it was amazing. I loved when he tagged Nicholas in. Nicholas got in. He was just like, Braun, and then he just tagged Braun right back right back in. And what did I do wrong? I'm 19. This child is 10. What was I doing wrong that this wasn't me 9 years ago?
Yeah.
This little bastard is going to get more pussy when he gets to high school than any of us combined. This piece of shit can say he won the tag team championship at WrestleMania when he was fucking 10 years old.
We'll see how he does.
Logan, I wish we could create child characters on Hibiki Pro, because there's our next match. We could do Colin Nicholas.
I do agree the fact that he would probably get more pussy than Colin, but damn us.
Oh, what? That just happened.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Hotshot Logan. Sure, you can't even find your penis. Fuck off.
Okay, remember you said something about me can't seeing my toes? Don't forget, Colin. It's bigger than that.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bud.
Yeah.
So they're actually booking Braun Strowman into Big Show territory.
That's your new
Yes,
gimmick.
they are.
The Peacemaker, JD. Look at that.
No, fuck. Oh.
This is what I was afraid of when they started doing the comedic segments. Look, I'll give Braun Strowman credit. He's over as fuck. He can do no wrong. Great. Good for him. Proud of him. Good job. The issue now is he's going to become Big Show and just be a comedic sketch all the time with the occasional monster type win thing that they do with the big guys.
I assumed that from the beginning when I saw how they were handling him. I was like, he's going to be hot for a minute, and then he's just going to be Big Show.
He's still hot, though.
Well, Big Show's been hot.
Big
Show's very popular.
They put Braun in an elf sketch with Drew Gulak, which was silly, but Braun's been red hot, and that was months ago. I mean, they could totally fuck him up and make him Big Show comedy, but I like to think they know enough that Braun's a little bit more special than that right now.
Okay, but I mean, let's be honest.
Are you on the payroll?
Let's be honest here. If he brought out his partner as, Big Show or Kane or someone who was probably going to be the partner before this idea popped in, everyone would have just bitched like, oh, it was too predictable. Oh, it's boring. Oh, give us something new. We got something new. Yes, it was a little out of left field, but what the fuck?
Here's one.
That wrestling
it's
is too
very
predictable.
WWE of them.
On your list, JD.
Complain that wrestling is too predictable.
JD, on your list, who did everyone predict?
What happened tonight? And
Strowman and question mark. Every single person picked Strowman to win. No, wait. Somebody picked the Bar. Hold on.
They were stupid.
Raw tag team titles.
I'm pretty sure.
Colin, no.
That wasn't me. I picked Braun.
Logan picked the Bar.
You're stupid.
He was the only one.
It could have happened.
I picked the Bar because I thought whoever his tag team partner was going to take the pinfall.
I wanted Nicholas to be the one who got the pinfall.
You think for a second Nicholas was going to take that pinfall? You silly guy.
It should have been the kid from Angels in the Outfield, because Drew just said it could happen. I just thought of him.
Remember
fucking Travis with the Angels in the Outfield reference. God bless.
Remember,
it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, Colin. Bear with me, okay?
Remember,
hey, it's only 11:41 over here. Hashtag West Coast. Bitch.
Go ahead, Logan.
And don't forget the prediction that I gave was days ago. So I mean, it's.
I love.
It's okay to be wrong. It's fine.
I'd rather be wrong.
I wish I was more wrong tonight.
Honestly, same.
Jesus.
That's what they did. Nicholas and Braun, guys, new champs. Wonder if Nicholas shows up tomorrow.
He has to. There's no way he doesn't.
I think that's probably why he was picked. Are you going to be here tomorrow? Yeah, okay, come on.
Yeah, my parents got the all-week VIP exclusive pass. I'll be here.
Yeah, he probably told his teachers he was going to do
the call out.
I seriously do wonder who the fuck this kid is. Like, I'm very curious who this kid actually is.
I think he's just a kid that was randomly chosen out of the VIP pass.
I'm calling it now. He's going to have his own shirt that says, "Get these grades."
You saw that on the tweet I retweeted, you asshole.
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
Bullshit.
Daniel Deeds lead in the chat says,
Oh.
Nicholas is one of the ref's kids.
John Cone. Really?
Okay.
That'd be cool, I guess.
Makes total sense.
I'm good with that. I like John Cone. He's a good ref.
All right. I mean, fine.
Hashtag give refs a chance. Come on.
Was John the one refereeing the match?
No, I don't even
Refereeing
know
the match?
Okay, why has nobody said it took until he said his name was Nicholas that I didn't think it was a little boy? I'm a dick. I thought.
I was confused of the gender as well. I was like, is that a girl or a boy with long hair? I can't tell.
I was like, I remember even saying out loud to the people watching, I go, but she must be thrilled, literally. And yeah, I'm a dick.
No,
you're not a dick.
I'm right on
You're not a dick. A child of that age, you can't tell with that kind of oversized t-shirt on, sweatshirt.
It's definitely his son.
And it makes me feel like it's even more a plant because Braun probably any other time would have been, "What's your name, sweetheart?" So
yeah,
it's okay.
Well, you don't want him to sign releases and get hurt and shit.
Tonka says that makes it so much less special.
I don't know. I'd prefer that than the VIP child.
Shit.
I mean, is
because then that takes away the mystery of if it's the VIP child, that just means you come from money, or you spent a lot of money for that kind of moment to happen. You know, it's not like the kid the Bret Hart glasses got it magically one night. You know, those are moments.
Ted DiBiase being on Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. It was Vince's house. Vince's house.
It wasn't like the woman ravishing Rick Rude would randomly pick out of the audience like, "Come here, baby."
Those are rats.
Those
are rat plants. So basically, you kissed all.
We get some rat plants.
Rat plants. It sounds like I don't know what that sounds like, but it sounds like money.
New band.
Guys, we have been thinking about, discussing, watching wrestling since what? 4:30 p.m., 5 p.m. for most of us.
Yeah.
I've been watching wrestling since 2. I watch all the pre-show because I'm insane.
Besides
I watched Ring of Honor this morning, so...
Besides West Coast time differences, which only Colin is a part of right now, I feel like it is only fitting, since we are already high atop Mountain Drew with Drew on the show, we have reached the top, the final part of WrestleMania, Roman and Brock, guys. The money match, quote unquote. I feel like it was. It was. The money match, the most build, the most... At the end of the day, we know what they did. We've already talked about it through most of the show, how could you not? Just the psychology, the asinine. Okay, I feel like last week on our Old School Mania, we literally just talked about how dumb it was that Warrior kicked out of like 5 Macho Man elbows. That's what this reminded me of while I was watching it, literally. I was like, Warrior all over again.
Yep.
Oh, no, the thing that made me laugh the most in this match was it was confirmed a while ago, and everyone just kind of caught on that all the matches Brock Lesnar had, against Joe, Strowman, the Fatal 4-Way, what have you, all of them, one F5, boom, done. And the whole idea behind that was when Roman kicks out of the F5 in this match for the first time, all the fans were supposed to be like, "What? He kicked out?" And there was no reaction the first time he kicked out of the F5. There was no reaction the second, third, fourth, or fifth time. The only time there was a reaction was when he didn't kick out, and people were just like, "Oh, shit, okay, Lesnar won." But, the whole thing fucking failed.
Yeah. This is awful chance.
This is
boring.
awful. This is boring. CM Punk, bring back Nicholas. The beach ball. Beach ball sucks.
I don't remember the bring back Nicholas.
During the entrance.
Bunch of sick. Chris Hansen better get on those people in New Orleans ASAP. Bring back Nicholas. You sick fuck. Sorry, I couldn't help that one. It's too easily. It is late, goddamn. But yeah, the match. Then my jokes aren't getting over. That means it's time to wrap up the show soon. But this match, real quick,
there
guys.
Was a Rusev Day. There was Delete. There was NXT. Johnny Wrestling. John Cena. Bourbon Street. No one gave a shit about this match.
I had to fight to stay awake, honestly. I felt like I was just watching 31 all over again, except with more kickouts from Roman and more blood.
Get a load of this, guys. I was live streaming. There was 5 people watching this shit with me. 3 people in the chat, like live chatting with me. And they're like, JD, do some live commentary doing this. Make this sound amazing. And I found myself repeating, and another suplex. We're up to 8 motherfuckers. And a Superman punch. But wait, the 5th one was stopped by Lesnar.
If only it was ECW and they could have
match.
jazzed it up on commentary by saying motherfuckers, because they would have did it in ECW, I'm sure.
Tonka saw in the chat saying Nicholas beating Brock would have been a real surprise. I'd pay $9.99 for that, says Drew. So I mean, I'd want to see that.
I was like, Roman Reigns is bleeding. Do we still give a shit about the guy?
Nicholas
well,
pins...
the audience sure doesn't. This is awful is blowing up in the arena.
Nicholas pins Brock, and then it was a setup from Kurt. He comes out and says, "This is my real son all along," since Jordan's like not coming back anytime soon.
Oh,
Since he's heard any new
that's
son.
Fine. That's fine.
Or
Am I wrong for wanting to see Nicholas just get German suplex to hell now? Am I wrong? I'll take the silence as a yes.
You're not right. I mean, I don't know. Jim Cornette. We all know Jim Cornette probably had to go to the urgent care when he saw a child show up, but we're not talking about that anymore. Yeah.
Jim Cornette had a fucking stroke. Yeah, I love it.
Logan, what did you think of the main event? I know you're hitting me up on the messenger. We're getting close to doing the show, and you were not a fan.
It was terrible. I don't know what they were even expecting us to even say, do, and care. Somebody said earlier that the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match was the piss break. This was my piss break.
You would think they would have done something different, even a Lesnar win. As you know, we all thought Roman was going to win. I put it on the podcast. I put it on the cast yesterday. What if Lesnar wins, guys? It doesn't even matter.
None of us even looked at you with any credibility. We were all just like, Lesnar isn't winning.
I put it out there yesterday. I'm like, don't put it past WWE just because we all think Roman's winning.
Drew, were you?
I'm happy they did it.
So now
I'm happy they did it. The match, if you look past the audience just fucking shitting on the entire match, I thought the match was okay. It wasn't. I thought their match at 31 was better, but this match wasn't terrible. I liked the blood. I liked, he split him open with his elbows. I thought it was fine. But other than that, it was an ending. It was okay. I enjoyed the shock value as far as Lesnar actually winning. And for a while, like during the match, I kind of, and I'm not trying to say, I knew it was going to happen. Part of me was like, I think Lesnar might win. And like after the first F5s, I was kind of like expecting it to happen. And then it actually did. And I was like, oh shit, okay, sure. I don't like it because I fucking hate Lesnar at this point, and I just want him to go away, and I want an actual, world champion. But I'll take it for the shock value in the moment, I guess.
Here's now the question we all must ask. Because the rumor is Samoa Joe is going to be Roman Reigns' next feud. So we know Joe is taking the pin in that.
I think this was a last-minute decision, honestly. I think Reigns was going to win probably up until some point today. And then Vince was like, hey, Lesnar, here's more money. Sign with us for another month. All right. And then, they decided to do the old switcheroo on us.
What do you do now? Like Lesnar goes away for a month, for a lot of months now. I guess
that's the thing. I mean, like, that's the underlying issue with this whole, shock thing. What if if Roman Reigns won, people would have shit on it more than they did this. I feel like this was more well received than everything else.
And you got Seth Rollins just sitting there with all this momentum, just saying.
Right. That's the only positive thing. Travis, when you were mentioning that Seth Rollins got that belt now, all makes sense now. At the end of the night, now I can look at it and go, I sure as shit hope that they're gonna make the IC title this big thing.
Bro,
right now,
can we just rename their IC belt now the Brett belt? Because when Brock goes away now, it's the Brett belt. Seth Rollins is going to take... The Miz was the Brett champion. Roman even got the Brett belt. Right now, Rollins has the Brett belt, and he's the guy with the most momentum
exactly.
as a babyface with the Brett belt, and they're going to build towards Rollins and probably Brock for around SummerSlam, I'm predicting. And it makes sense. People are saying burn it down. The people are into him. He comes off cool. He's cool to kids. He's cool to adults. And he's fucking talented, and he's a good performer. If anything... That's maybe the best way to salvage it. If anyone thinks I don't think it's broken by any means. I think it was a good call to swerve everyone, and I was fine with the finish. It's just this deadpan ass crowd that was exhausted. They'd already seen. This is the one thing nobody gave really a shit. Everyone was just like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Everyone's like, yeah, the card's stacked, but the Reigns match, let's just rip that Band-Aid off and breeze by it. But everybody forgets every year at Mania, I think, how tired we are by the end of these main events. And it hits you by this time in the show like a shit ton of bricks. And then you're like, I still got to do a goddamn 2-hour podcast on top of it. You're like, oh, so I think and real quick, I'll say this and you guys can say everything you want. I think with the combination of everybody, 78,000 goddamn people saying, okay, I want to leave now and beat the parking. It's Roman anyway. That might have been a clusterfuck because I saw people filing out on camera visibly. You know what I mean? Multiple shots. That's also a thing with main events and huge ass crowds like this. Hell, even a regular arena, people want to dip out, beat the fucking traffic. That's understandable. A lot of factors went into the
Here's the issue with that, Travis. You go to a basketball game, the NBA Finals, Game 7, 2 minutes left. Guys up by 10. You're not leaving just to beat traffic.
This was at Game 2.
This was a repeat finals that we've seen before. Celtics Lakers, that's what they built it as. Their big money match. You shouldn't have a main event where you visibly see people leaving, no matter how long it is.
I mean, and take to another extent, this is also, you could equate it to like a theater where nobody likes the actors in it, so they're going to dip out. The actors in the earlier acts, they already came to see, in a way, because it's not a real sport. You know what I mean? But it does have the big, I see the compare, but to see both sides of it, in a way, it's that too. I don't care about this. It's not like an NBA Finals to that extent. I mean, AJ and Knock, that's why I said earlier, that totally would have been. That's your NBA Finals type feel atmosphere. You want to close out your biggest show of the year. You always want that. I thought.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying they could have cut this in half. That's why I'm saying they could have cut this match in half, used that time for Styles and Nax to have a better in-ring story, to at least telegraph something. Or build something more, and who knows? I mentioned this before on Good Goes where I mentioned it, but I go, look, you put Roman Reigns, Lesnar somewhere else in the card, I almost guarantee we would have cared maybe a little bit more of what happened. Yeah. We would have been more into it.
This is we were praising them last year on Slam Pigs and whatnot about how they didn't close with Goldberg and Brock last year. It was the right call to put that in the middle. Fans cared.
Exactly.
More. I felt it translated well. And it wasn't long either. It wasn't that long of a match.
And it closed with Taker Reigns.
Drew, I feel like you're pretty on board with how this played out for the most part.
Sure.
What is it about it that you feel like was done right and you think people were maybe overreacting a little bit about? Just in general, people.
Yeah, sure. I think the Reigns win was too obvious, so I didn't see that coming out of it. I thought, weirdly enough, one of the outside views that became kind of an obvious view to a point was maybe Paul Heyman turning, because if Brock was quote unquote leaving, then he could hang out and be with Roman. So the fact that Brock just beat the shit out of him and then won was kind of a surprise ending, which I enjoyed for the most point. And the unexpected juice at the end was kind of weird and always adds to it. But I thought it was, the crowd didn't bother me. If the crowd were leaving, I didn't notice it. I didn't really see it, so that didn't affect it all.
I mean, they were too busy putting themselves over with the beach ball and all that. Real quick, I want to say that over at the Future Entertainment stream in the chat, a guy by the name of David Damron, I probably pronounced that incorrectly. He says that Lesnar will lose the title to Bobby Lashley, which at this point, probably, I could see that happening.
Stranger
I'd be for that because Lashley actually shows up to work.
Exactly. If Lashley actually, shows up and has the title every week, I'd be okay with fucking Santino coming back at this
Lashley
point.
on Impact has just put over Brian Cage 2 weeks in a row. So Lashley isn't this invincible thing that has been booked. I want to make this clear, first of all, or even last of all. I don't think Roman Reigns is a bad wrestler. I don't hate Roman Reigns because it's a cool thing to do. Okay? I hate the fact that Roman Reigns is booked to be in our face, to be this invincible guy. I hate his reduced moveset. He screams. He's the problem with main roster WWE. He is the embodiment of what I hate in what the brand or this wrestling company has become. It is Roman Reigns. He's a t-shirt salesman with 4 moves and nothing more. That is what I get out of a Roman Reigns match. Roman Reigns could put on the best match of the year, just like best match of his career, like he did with AJ Styles, whenever that was. But I didn't see anything out of Roman. It was AJ Styles who was doing it. So to me, Roman is only as good as the person he's up against. And tonight he was up against Brock Lesnar, who's almost the same thing. He's a man of 4 moves who's just booked to be strong. He's almost like the same as Roman Reigns at this point.
I've seen Roman and Braun live at a house show like a year and a half ago, and it was a fine match. For me, and I agree. I always, more the times than not, I end up defending Reigns. He's always mishandled. It's mistiming. It's not. They don't align the stars properly how they've tried. It's always like 2 steps forward, 57 steps back with Roman. It always feels that way, and it's their fault. And he's not a bad wrestler. He has good facial expressions. He does have that it factor. He jumps off a screen. He's a fucking star. He's jacked. He's got the Samoan bloodline. To be fair, he's got more than 4 moves, but I can see totally why they want to hold it. Don't give him as much. Be the big dog. Yeah, I totally see that, what you're saying to that. It's just a matter of, like I said, they never know how to fucking handle this guy to where fans don't resent him, no matter what.
And it's not just him at this point. They're doing the same thing with Finn Balor. They're doing the same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura. They're not letting them out of their shell. They're becoming t-shirt salesmen, and they're one catchphrase.
I really feel
Balor
like
Club
WWE's
was
been
booked into obscurity. Finn Balor we're seeing as just this rainbow guy. Shinsuke Nakamura is now turned heel because they don't know what else to do with him.
That rainbow guy.
This could be in a way, and I really feel like WWE has desperately, and it's come off like that too in the booking, and I know it's easy to say, but I feel like WWE has desperately wanted to pull in that smarky NXT-loving crowd that has refused to come around to Reigns, and this whole part-timer storyline has been revolved around just grasp, they're the final piece to the puzzle, then Roman's really our guy, type thing that they think. And I feel like, if anything, lesson learned, this is the best they could have done in a work shoot type thing with Brock being a part-timer, because it's what everybody says about Brock anyway, and it didn't work. It didn't work, and I knew it wasn't going to work. And I know it's close out tonight. It's beyond a dead horse, guys, to complain about Roman. I fucking get it by now. We hear you. Anybody that does it to it at cringe extent, when we go at it like we all do, about just an open mind about it, really, it's truly time to shake some shit up. It's not going to work. Those people are never going to come around on him. Point in case, not on the biggest level, but the Usos, when they were in their cringy ass, let's sell some more t-shirts with their Ultimate Warrior shitty face paint, it didn't work, and the fans ended up booing the Usos out of the building. The Usos were themselves, and it fucking worked. More times than not, when you make a guy heel, it fucking works. Does Rocky Maivia ring a bell? Does to me, does to a lot of other people, but it's beyond time. I'm over talking about you need to turn Roman. If it doesn't stare them in the face right now, then all hope is truly lost, and they are mildly retarded, because, my God, the sun is staring them in the eyes right now with Daniel Bryan. If they don't do something, they got to move him to Raw. They got to do something with Bryan. If anything's going to be shaken up, Bryan needs to be the focal point of your biggest angles. Why not Bryan and Brock? Fuck it. If that's the sun staring him at the face, they need to just pull back a little bit more on Reigns, even when they said they were this past year. Well, he's not the defenders of Reigns. You know who you got? The ones that never fucking admit that he's being booked like shit. They always defended those people, right? No, he's not winning his matches. He's only won 2 matches. Guess what? In the long term, he still won the IC belt. He still won the fucking feuds. He lost the Rumble. That's 1 match. And look, who had a bigger fucking, I don't know. If anything, I'm done ranting. It's been a long fucking night, like I said. But really, I just feel like it's time. It is truly now the time to do something different with Reigns. Because personally, I'm not looking forward to another 10 years of a Cena era where this guy's polarizing. I miss days when a guy was on top, fans were on board. Look at Johnny Gargano right now. It's fucking great. People
He should be Brock right now.
That's what it's all about. That's wrestling. Buying in to a guy collectively. People, you want to talk about bringing your Balor clubs together. That's what's great about wrestling. One character be black, the Junkyard Dog era in Mid-South. That brought in the biggest, whitest, racist redneck. Even they were rooting for JYD. If done correctly, that's wrestling. That's fucking wrestling. God damn, I feel like I should be getting paid for rants like that. Alas.
That was good.
That was an amazing rant, brother.
That was pretty solid.
I really hope Logan's okay. He's not feeling well. I don't know how long I can prolong the show because I know we're live on his channel and he can't hit stop. You guys, any last thoughts on WrestleMania? Let's go across the boards and grade it.
I'm here.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome back, Logan. I'm glad you're feeling better. It's been a whopper of a night, whopper of a show. What do we give a final grade on WrestleMania? Whoever wants to start, I don't give a shit.
I'll start. A minus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's an interesting grade. I am going to go with just a steady B. I thought, past Manias have been better. I thought past Manias have been worse. Nothing. I don't think anything's going to... It wasn't nearly as bad as 32. Wasn't as good as, 31, 33, whatever. I'm gonna stick with a steady B.
You guys are very kind. So kind. I didn't hate WrestleMania despite my negativity. I just have a lot of worries. I have a lot of issues going forward. I don't know where any of this is going. The booking decisions are very questionable. Not turning Reigns heel, but you turn Nakamura heel. Things just don't add up to me. Everything felt off tonight. Whether it was the strange pyro uses, the streak ending. To me, that was the best match, and the streak ended with Asuka. I'm so confused with everything tonight. I didn't hate Mania, but I didn't love it by any means. I just have way too many issues to give it anything more than a B. I see it as an average pay-per-view. It felt like a glorified Raw, to be honest. I didn't feel like I was invested in anything at the end. I just felt like I was there. It's a C show. No match. The only match that stood out was the Charlotte Asuka one. Everything else felt like 3 stars tops. This is why New Japan and Ring of Honor and even NXT are just miles above when it comes to putting on a pay-per-view, building a story. It just goes on and on. I watched NXT. I lost my goddamn fucking mind. I was cutting drunk-ass promos last night. I was a happy wrestling fan. I was hungover as fuck this morning watching Ring of Honor. Sure, there was a couple matches on that card, but I was a generally happy fan. There was a story being built in matches. I saw Code. Do you want me to spoil Ring of Honor at all?
I liked it so.
Anybody care?
Go ahead.
The Young Bucks came out in the middle. The Young Bucks came out at the end of their match and caused the shift. There's continuity. I don't get any of that watching Mania. Mania is the E in entertainment, and I accept it. It's fine, but as a wrestling fan, it does nothing for me. It's a C rating, a 3 stars, 2.5 stars, you might say, at the end of the night. It's Mania. It's an entertaining experience, not a wrestling show. Done.
Very good. True.
Logan,
whoever.
Logan, go.
I have to give it a C-.
It's rough stuff, Cowboy. Explain yourself.
There's a mixture of good, and there's a mixture of bad. So I have to give it that down the middle.
You and me
Great.
are on the same page, it seems, Logan.
Drew?
A minus.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
So
Look at
yeah,
that.
You remember?
I'm curious, Drew, real quick.
Yeah. Sure.
Do you watch like New Japan or Ring of Honor?
I do.
And what do you think of like Supercard or Sakura Genesis?
I haven't watched either yet.
I
Did you
watched
watch the New Japan Cup?
Yeah, pieces, highlights.
And that doesn't stick out as you as a better wrestling program?
Not from what I expect from WWE.
So what you expect from WWE, this is prime time.
Yeah. I
Okay.
can't put the two on a same scale almost.
Kinda-
I would say that.
I get what you're saying. I also watch New Japan. I watch Sakura Genesis, all that. I expect the kind of shows from New Japan that they give us. I went into this WrestleMania. I honestly, I'm not sure what I expected. It wasn't this, but it was better than what I thought it could have
Yes,
been. Like
agreed.
I get his point. Like I understand. Like with New Japan, I expect an amazing show. So it's.
But how is that acceptable for what WWE does?
Because
I'm not
WWE,
saying
it's
it's
in their
acceptable.
tagline for it, the showcase. It's a showcase. It's a Herb Abrams glitz and glamour thing. It's apples and oranges, where New Japan is a streamlined match to fucking match, not even a breather in between matches. Literally, the guys are heading backstage. They're already cutting to the next guy's entrance usually, which is fine and is awesome. And I love New Japan, but it's totally different animals in a way. And they're both self-aware. They're both advertised fully self-aware of what they are. They don't try to bullshit. WWE doesn't try to be like, we're better than the G1. We are pro wrestling. No, WWE is.
I get that.
This
but
is the showcase
it's
of the Immortals. Blah blah
it's-
blah.
it's
Kid Rock.
world-
All the bullshit.
I get that, but it's World Wrestling Entertainment, and I feel like they're neglecting the
It's not
wrestling
anymore.
over the entertainment.
It's World Sports Entertainment, pal.
Well, then call it WSE then. Fuck.
They are always at the end of the day going to have the tried and true defense of our shows have something for everybody. No, I don't. I'm not on their goddamn payroll, and I've found myself defending them more times than not. But I feel like there kind of was on this show. So, not saying it's all good, but that's what sports entertainment is, as opposed to pro wrestling and Ring of Honor or New Japan.
I agree.
feel like my 8-year-olds are not going to get in to a New Japan show. They're just not, unless it's Chris Jericho. I kind of recognize him because my dad plays him in a game or talks about him or sees him sometimes. Other than that, it's you know what I'm saying. It's
Exactly.
I don't know what I'm saying because when I was a kid, I didn't buy this shit. I watched WCW for reasons. This wasn't acceptable. When
Yeah, but I
was
mean,
6.
so did I. So did Drew. So did a lot of people. And
Yeah. So to just I'm gonna say it right now. I think you guys
because
are
Karl
alone in your
Malone and
standards
Dennis
being
Rodman
acceptable.
never wrestled in WCW, and
no.
RoboCop never showed up way before the NWO happened. That never happened in WCW. None of that. Oh no, I'm serious about that. Like it's wrestling. You
You're
just
right.
got to know the animal
there.
you're dealing with. It's WrestleMania, not the G1 Climax. Of course, there's going to be hokey, and I didn't expect kids to be getting hot tags in a match. Other than that, but you kind of. I don't know. What do I know? I don't make money talking
Travis,
about
what
wrestling.
do you rate the show? Let's get out of here.
You're more than correct. What a long ass night. WrestleMania's in the books. Let's whore ourselves out before we get out of here one more time. JD, where can everyone check you?
Still didn't give your grade, did you?
Me?
Yeah. Did you give your grade?
I don't even know at this point. Did I?
You didn't.
You didn't.
B-.
All right, that's fair.
First half of the show got me really excited, and the second half just, I don't know, like we said, wind out of my sails, kind of downgraded the grade.
That's fair.
I'm spent, man. What can I say?
I think we all are. We still got. I mean, if you want to go the full distance, we still got 3 more days of straight wrestling to watch.
That's self-imposed if you choose. I don't know if I can.
I mean, the Raw
Yeah.
after Mania is a given. SmackDown and the NXT are your choices.
JD, where can everyone check you out? Red Leaf Retchcast, all that goodness.
Red Leaf Retrocast, iTunes, Google Play, a plethora of other things. It's not just wrestling; it's all different animals. But tomorrow I'll be recording with Rad and my buddy over here, Hibiki TMD, over not just WrestleMania. It's just kind of an overview of the great wrestling weekend and some of the top events that happened. So that'll be coming out later this week. Red Leaf Retrocast, WrestleCast specifically. If you're a wrestling fan, come check us out.
There you go. With the almighty Rad Zero. I'm excited for tomorrow night. Talking more wrestling, more graps. Speaking of graps, the other half of Never Drew a Dime, Drew Ortman. We weren't talking retro, we were talking current. But man, nonetheless, good to have you. Thank you again for coming on. And where can everyone catch you once again?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. At Drew Ortman on Twitter, at PW Journal, at Kayfabe Today. That'll do it.
Excellent, man. I'll see you again when we draw some dimes. Look for that episode soon. The other half, Slam Pigs Podcast, Future Wrestling Cruise Control. Jinder Mahal's biggest fan, Colin Dunn.
Oh, man, it never gets old. Real quick, before I plug my shit, I want to give a shout-out to people who are in the chat tonight. We had Hammers Productions. We had Snare. We had Tonka Saw, who was always a great surprise. We had a couple of new faces, some guy named Daniel, other people's named, David, all that. Had some of my friends, my lovely friend Kayla, people I used to write with, all of them. Thank you for joining us. You can follow me on Twitter at UberTieGuy. I'm always tweeting about wrestling. I'm always just tweeting about random things. I'm an entertaining guy, I like to think. You won't regret following me. I promise you. You can check me out over at the Hibiki TMD for Slam Pigs every week with Travis himself and Kuz on TV. And you check me out over at Future Entertainment where we do Cruise Control, all that.
Very well put. Thank you again, Colin, for joining me. I'll see you this week. Slam Pigs Podcast coming back.
Always a pleasure.
The other half of the 2 days simulcast, the Iron Man, the most dedicated podcaster I've ever met. My man, the Red Hot Fire Logan Myers. We did it, man. Mission accomplished. Thank you so much for having this idea with me for the simulcast.
Thank you, Travis. And yes, thank you to everybody in the chat that was listening. Colin gave the big list of names, and thank you everybody that's on here. Drew, JD, Colin, and Travis, thanks for letting me come on Slam Pigs once again and on this simulcast. But you guys can check me right there on Twitter at LoganMyers144. And if you're listening and watching Future Wrestling Podcast or Slam Pigs, hit that like and that subscribe button today.
A little too sweet action to you, Logan. I'll see you when Mickey Bros' next episode drops. Special guest, not dropping it yet, who that is. Until then, as always, follow me on Twitter at the TMD. Guys, I want to thank especially guys, JD, Drew, Colin, Logan, Rad Zero, anybody that was involved in this 2 day simulcast successful event. Thank you guys so much for helping us out. This means the world, and I can't wait to have you guys back as guests in the future. As always, hit that subscribe down below like Logan said. Thank you guys so much in the chat, man. Staying up super late. Until next time, Future Wrestling, Slam Pigs Podcast, WrestleMania.